What's up, everybody?
How you doing, sir?
I'm good, brother.
How are you been up? Not bad. You been up to anything this week? Anything interesting?
No, man. No. Just fracturing my big toe in the treadmill. That's about as exciting as it gets.
I am sure we'll get into that. But until then, let's bring on AEW Awful Wrestling. Awful. How are you, sir? Not there? Nothing?
No. I am here. I muted myself. What's going on? Piece of the chat, piece of the panel, Kev. What's going on, gentlemen?
Peace and love. Peace and love,
yes,
sir.
Indeed.
You got that game ready for us this week?
Yes, I do. It's Awful Jeopardy tonight. Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. And our joining the panel this week, actually taking my place on the panel, since I am taking Marv's place, we have Swerve at the Swerve Show from Twitter. How's it going, Swerve?
What's up, everybody? Having fun. Thank you for inviting me. Just like everybody in the chat, fan of you guys on Twitter. And I'm sorry if I'm sweating. I feel like I'm Shane McMahon. I'm not doing anything backstage. It's just very hot, but thank you for having me on.
Yeah, Swerve, a good friend of the show. He's helped out me and Beard a couple times, so it's great to have him on. And he's usually in the chat, so people in the chat are aware of Swerve. If you don't know him, please follow him at the Swerve Show on Twitter. It is misspelled on his name. I'm just noticing that.
The Swerve Show. That's right. Follow him there.
So you'll figure it out. First off, before we get too far into things, I want to give a quick shout out to Brad Becker. He is a friend of the show, a listener, someone who follows us every week. He is going through some health issues. He is having surgery, actually. So I'm not going to get into what it was. He did post it on Twitter. You can find it there. But, we're sending our best to Brad. Also, I want to play something for you guys. Can I do that real quick? You guys mind? This is pretty neat. I didn't know he was such a big fan of the show, but on Keeping It 100 this week, Disco Inferno, well, I'll just play it.
Town Wrestling, the funniest wrestling podcast on YouTube. All right.
There you go. He said it. I didn't say it. Disco Inferno said it.
Shout out, Brad.
Yeah, that was
and
from
John.
That was from John Kamapa. That's how Disco pronounced it. I don't know if that's how it's actually pronounced, but that's how Disco pronounced it. So we're going to go with it. So thank you, John Kamapa, for sending that in to Keeping It 100 and getting us on there. That's pretty neat.
Did he get a yellow card?
What's that?
Did he get a yellow card or suspended from Disco by any chance?
Also, I guess if you aren't aware, Marv is on vacation this week. So we're holding it down. We're going to try really hard not to get Marv demonetized or to get Marv in trouble. If we do, it'll be really funny. It'll be really funny if we do.
Marv needs bail money.
Yeah,
that's where he's at currently.
So speaking of Marv, let's get into some super chats. We already have a few. This is I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen this person before. Tooney Town TV with $9.99. He said nothing because he doesn't know how to use YouTube apparently. It's his first super chat, so that's awesome. We love having you here, Tooney Town TV. Okay, that's Marv. We all know that's Marv, and he just gave $10 to himself for some reason. But thank you, Marv. We appreciate it. Next,
dirty money.
Yeah, really. He could have really said something though, like, "Hey, enjoy the show, fellas.
Good luck.
Good luck."
No,
just leaves it blank.
Yeah.
I almost cursed.
Nope. Nothing. He gave himself $10 and then he left. I'm
Right. Yeah.
So he's a big supporter of the show. Moving on, an actual big supporter of the show, John JID 999. He is our mod on Discord. Will WWE do a Japan tour next year? This tour is making money. Yeah, absolutely. Right. This is a normal thing now.
Yeah.
You have to assume.
Yep. I think we'll see some big stuff coming out of Japan over the next couple of years. You know, they are hell bent on the global brand being a global brand. So it's lots of cool stuff. And from all the footage we saw over the last week, it looks like there's they have a lot of positive energy and a lot of positive reasons to be heading back sooner rather than later.
Right.
I agree.
I got a question, gentlemen. What compels the Japanese wrestling audience to not say much during Japanese wrestling, but to act all raucous and rowdy when the WWE comes into town?
It's boring.
Is that a cultural thing?
No.
I think originally it was a cultural thing where, like, the crowds were very reserved.
Yeah.
And they would clap. Unless it was Bruiser Brody, then everybody ran away.
Right.
But I think just the WWE is such its own thing, and brings such a different energy than than any of the other feds they have out there. That even includes the the mud feds, where you
right.
Where you got Leatherface and those guys running around. It's just it's more of a party entertainment atmosphere. So it does invite, especially over the last 15 years too. As you've seen geek culture and Comic-Con kind of blow up and expand,
right.
Into more of a mainstream thing. The WWE, by virtue of people singing the themes, people dressing up here, let's be honest, if we do it here, and it's geeky, they're doing it 10 times better over there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you guys put up a picture of a group in the group chat,
right?
Cosplay fans, and I could swear to God it was actually Asuka.
I thought the same thing. I was just like, wow, there's 10 Asukas lookalikes, and then there's one real Asuka. I saw Swerve. I saw that look, Swerve. Come on now. You got to see the picture, and then you'll understand.
I believe you. I think I've seen it too.
The other thing is that Japanese audience. So you see how popular Japanese culture is in America. American culture has been super popular in Japan for a long time. And because of that, I think when they get a little bit of America to come to Japan, they kind of just want to act like Americans, right? They kind of want to throw down, have some fun. When they go to a Japanese wrestling show, I mean, number one, it's not as exciting and that kind of stuff as the American shows. But on top of that, there is a thing where if you do yell during that show, people will give you bad looks and that kind of thing. And you don't get that when you go to WWE. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Swerve, you got any thoughts on it?
The first thing that pops up in my mind is on Twitter. I believe Io Sky was injured, and a lot of fans were sort of getting on the WWE like, how are you going to let Io Sky fight in Japan when she's injured on WWE TV? And that's just one of those things where it's just like, come on, it's a house show. Like,
Yeah.
They
did it with Kofi too, and they actually tried to explain it, right? Because Kofi wrestled there, and he's supposed to be selling a shoulder injury from carrying cross. So they said, oh, well, he was better, and then he got hurt again. So we had to pull him. Io actually came back on Raw. So, all that stuff that they were complaining about on Twitter, WWE did explain away on TV. So I do give them credit.
Now, not to cut you off, though, how far do you think they could keep on going with these Japan shows, shows in Japan? Because they sort of regurgitate the great feuds, like AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura was like headlining one show. Then I'm sure they can milk the OC and probably Guerrillas of Destiny, aka the Solos thing. Do you think they're gonna have to sort of dig up that? I don't know, like how do you know
nostalgia?
What I'm talking about? Yeah.
When you break into a place like that, and really this is WWE reestablishing themselves in Japan, so I think this was them giving the Japanese audience a little bit more than they would give but if they start doing it regularly, if it becomes a yearly thing, I think it'll become more just the normal WWE product. Although you still see things like Clash of the Castle, Drew gets a title shot, Bash in Berlin, Gunther has the title. They're going to book things like that, but I don't think it's going to be completely Japanese centric, especially if they plan on running pay-per-views, that kind of stuff in Japan, which I imagine they would. I think Awful, were you the one who had something to say there?
As far as like they're doing a pay-per-view in Japan, obviously I agree with Kev and Swerve and you. It's obviously going to work. I love the fact that they're being focused on it. You know what I mean? Start with the house shows first, and don't even get a big arena. It looked like they were in like a kind of like a theater setting where there weren't too many people. It looked packed, but there weren't as many people as what we would see anywhere else. So that's how you do it. Test the market.
I was saving
I
Kev.
wish other companies would do that.
Yeah, I was saving Kev for the end because I think he deserves a little victory lap here, because months and months ago, on the very first Tooney Talk Wrestlings, Kev was out here saying WWE is going to run Japan soon, and they're going to pack the house and they're going to tear the place down. And here we are. They announced the tour, they sold them out, and they tore the place down. So Kev, congratulations on that.
Nice.
Do you think there's a big future for WWE in Japan?
Yeah. They don't do anything without putting a lot of care and thought into it. They went out there, they tested the waters. They've made a really big push to reestablish a lot of very important ties. You can't run in Japan unless you have a Japanese company willing to essentially lend you their promoter's license. So they've had to make a lot of inroads, repair a lot of damaged relationships. And listen, the energy is there. You remember the old school, WWF intro where they tell about how many countries they were in, especially when this Netflix deal hits, they're pretty much everywhere and they're live, so they'll be able to go to Japan and not necessarily have to do the nostalgia tour because everybody's going to be real time up to date, so it's cool to watch. I went to school for sports management, and back in the early 2000s, all the textbooks were talking about, hey, for American sports, and you see it with the NFL, you see it with the MLB, you see it with the NBA, the North American crowd is pretty much saturated. Like, you have expanded as far as you can expand. So where's your next big audience? And it's going to be overseas. They showed us the tour for, or rather, I should say, the plan for Europe whenever NXT Europe decides to drop. We know that there was a slight plan, a small plan for NXT in Japan. So these just all kind of translate to doing, consistent, stable business. So I really think like this, the best is yet to come
Yeah. We got Mexico too, by the way. Don't forget about that.
I'm giggling to myself because I'm wondering if Vince McMahon was still around, what the names of these pay-per-views would be.
Oh.
Chop suey.
Rocky Bomb.
Saki Bomb. Chris Hiroshima.
Yeah.
Havoc in Hiroshima.
Okay. We're gonna move on here. Before we do, though, if you are in the chat right now, do us a favor, drop a quick like. It helps the show a ton. Next chat will be Rocco with $9.99.
Nice.
Wants to buy Neckbeard some cough medicine. Loves the show, lads. Thank you very much, Rocco. We appreciate you and we appreciate your support. Moving on to Alejandro Melendez. Let's do that here. Dis pulling a show solo and taking over the show. Yeah. That's pretty much what I'm doing, except I'm not cosplaying as The Weeknd while I do it. So I was thinking about doing something fun like that, but I could not find the fun stuff for my avatar. So we're moving on now. We got Space Dave 2000. Okay, you got a good shot of Swerve flexing there. Space Dave 2000 with a Canadian $2, which I believe is about 25 cents American. Tell Marv. Tell Marv no holidays in Vince McMahon's WWE, dude. Yeah.
What do you mean you want to take off to see the birth of your son?
It's so crazy because now we look back at that and I'm guilty of it. I looked at that when it was happening. It was just like, okay, all right, I guess that's what you're supposed to do when you're a wrestler. Now it's just like, boy, the WWE is like the Swedish, economy. Like 1 week on, 1 week off. Like
Shinsuke
that's
Nakamura,
pretty damn good. That's pretty cool.
They let Shinsuke Nakamura go home for like 3 months now.
Yeah,
it's no big deal. This is the way it should be done too, by the way, in my opinion, because this way you don't have to. They would say, wrestling never takes an off season, right? And
right.
It's true. But that doesn't mean you can't give your wrestlers time to heal up nagging injuries, that kind of thing. And in the long run, it'll be better for the longevity of their careers. So
yeah, we are so far removed from the territory days where like you had to wrestle to get paid, or if you were someone on the undercard, you may have to wrestle Friday or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then finally get paid on Sunday. Because someone said you were worth your while. We're so far removed from that in the days of the independent contractor.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. You've got to give people time off. Also, absence does make the heart grow fonder. You've got it's silly. Well, listen, it's taken a long time for the world to kind of start doing some very common sense things. But
right.
So it's good. It's good that we're here. It's good. Long gone are the days of, oh, you're pregnant? Well, geez, you're fired.
Mm-hmm.
All that other crap. So,
and dude, I used to rock with that. I used to be like, yeah, fire her. Because
you're gonna come back fat.
I mean, that's but thankfully we all get older. We all mature and all that. Here's what I think the final frontier is. Seasons. I think wrestling is going to go that way. Like we'll see in 2 months, folks. You know what I mean? And then it'll be a fall season of WWE Raw or SmackDown or AEW Dynamite, whatever you want to call it. And I think that might be like the next thing that will happen as far as presenting it on television.
I don't know about that. What I could see happening is them having like a fall roster, a summer roster, that kind of thing, where they cycle these guys in and out.
B-team. Gotcha.
Yeah, not even just 2 A teams, right? Like, and because they already do different rosters for Raw and SmackDown, you could easily switch that to one roster for both shows that rotate throughout the year. So you could have, 3 months with one, 3 months with another, 3 months with one, 3 months with another. I could see that before I see a full break, because I think that they already show that there are times of the year that they already go down, and it is hard to pick people back up when you're trying to come back from that. Like trying to get people back into SummerSlam after the WrestleMania, the post WrestleMania slump is always difficult for WWE. And I don't think they want to make that harder by doing a full drop off, because this day and age, people will find something else to do. And especially if WWE started taking 3 months off, do you AEW would do everything they can to get that audience?
And the power of wrestling for TV has always been it's 52 weeks a year and it's cheap to produce.
Yeah.
You know, so I couldn't see anybody on TV. I could see smaller companies with very small TV deals doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Where they could like let's say ROH didn't die the slow horrible death and then get reanimated into the desiccated corpse it is now. I could see like an ROH going, hey, you know, after what was the main pay-per-view? Was it Death Before Dishonor?
Yeah. Final Battle does it, you know, I mean, they hit up you.
You know, you do your final battle and you take like a month off where you give everybody a chance to heal up, save a little money in your payroll, and then that next month is just dedicated to getting it's a jump on point for casual and new fans.
I mean, to be fair,
when you see video packages, stuff like that, and then boom, here's the big premiere. And big premiere is always good for spiking numbers. Yeah,
we have seen that model. Lucha Underground did it. Mm-hmm. Wrestling Society X attempted it.
I love Society X.
Wrestling Society X is
camera.
Bat crap crazy. You see what I did there? I didn't say the S word. I said crap. If you haven't seen Wrestling Society X, it's very interesting. And you get to see a lot of people who went on to become bigger stars. What do you think, Swerve? Could you see wrestling going into seasons?
I agree with having a team. Maybe they don't have to tell us that there's two separate groups of people. Just have it in-house and be like, hey, this, from January, February, March, not February, like from these next 3 months, we'll have Brock, you'll take off, Roman, you'll take off, Seth, you'll take off, but we won't tell anybody, because just in case somebody else gets injured, they might need a throwback in a Brock Lesnar or Seth Rollins, but definitely keep it in-house just to, CYA cover your, behind if something does go wrong, because the marks will like automatically attack and be like, hey, how come Seth Rollins is back? He's not supposed to be back until season 2 in September. So
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, also you can have the long-term champion still come in and wrestle once every other month or something like that, who they don't have to take the season off the way the other guys do. So, all right, moving on. We got Shaggy Filth here with a good little $10. Anyone got tickets for the JH concert? I have no idea what he's talking about because I'm 41 years old. Does anybody know what the JH concert is?
Joe Hendry, maybe?
Oh, Joe Hendry. Oh, I didn't realize that was an acronym. Okay, Joe Hendry. No, because we're here. So, we haven't really talked about Joe Hendry. My kid really likes Joe Hendry and has seen approximately one Joe Hendry match, but he still makes me listen to Cheese It Champion at least 3 times a day. I think the difference, in my opinion, with Joe Hendry is he is very DIY. He's doing it himself. Like guys like Fandango, some of these other viral wrestlers were created by the company in order to, get a follow. Whereas Joe Hendry did this himself. Joe Hendry makes his own music. Joe Hendry was an indie wrestler and did this for years. And I respect that more than a guy who's just given a gimmick, goes out there and it lasts 6 months and then nobody cares about it anymore. Joe Hendry has actually made this last for it's going on 7 years now or so. And he's done it. Yeah. He's done it. He was big in Britain. He had a feud with Drew when Drew was released from WWE. Go look that stuff up. That stuff is good.
Same gimmick too, clapping and all.
Same gimmick, yes. And he did I'm blue dabba dee dabba die, but he did that with Drew.
Yeah.
So it was I'm Drew dabba dee dabba die. It was good though, and he's been doing that for a long time. He did it in Ring of Honor. He did it in TNA. He did it Tony not signing this man when he had the opportunity when he bought Ring of Honor is insane. Because you look at this guy and you know that you're at least going to get 6 months of popularity out of him. You're at least going to get good advertising and that kind of stuff from this guy, regardless of if he's weak in the ring, which I don't think he is. I think he's okay in the ring.
Is he a good talker? Haven't heard too much from him.
He's a good talker. He's got good presence. I think oh gosh, who was it? I was surprised, but also not surprised that he didn't win the title at the last TNA pay-per-view. I understand why. If you're gonna do it, you have to do it like for him because it's his first time. You should really do it in a singles situation. But he has earned his popularity. It's I believe in Joe Hendry. And I listen to that dumb song at least 4 times a week.
Not to mention, we don't know how long Joe Hendry is for TNA. TNA
5 years.
Is it 5 years?
He's got 4 or 5 years in his contract.
Oh wow, because TNA it regularly signs people like 6-month contracts, and WWE is clearly interested in Joe Hendry. But if he has 5 years left, yeah, they need to put the title on him at some point because I mean, look at him. I don't know. Swerve, what do you think about Joe Hendry?
I made a funny post about him, quote unquote funny maybe to me. I thought he was like a combination of Effie and positive DDP Page. And people, but now like after he like that song can't get out of my head and I'm sort of like sinking into it. I'm like, I'm getting caught. I'm like, yeah, I'll follow what he's doing. If he's on NXT, I'm gonna tune in. I'm not gonna tune out. So I like him. Yeah,
I mean, and that song it got on Billboard charts. Right
now, are you guys into rumors or not? Because I heard something. It's sort of from a legit source that in Florida he purchased a billboard to promote himself.
I can believe it.
I believe it.
I can believe it.
Apparently, there were advertisements in foreign countries with his face all over it.
What?
Yeah, I remember seeing that video. That's where I learned about Joe. I was just like, "Oh, this guy's a wrestler." It was a big, gigantic billboard in some foreign city. Outside of America, and he was sitting right there, say his name, man.
Now, my question to you is, does he get in trouble backstage because of that? Like, hey, you can't get over without our WWE machine.
They better be thinking they're lucky stars he's doing things like that. It draws attention to their company.
This is WWE.
It's a little different because, again, he's not in the machine. He is technically a TNA employee. They have a lot more freedom to to kind of get the name out there.
Yeah.
Also, too, in a situation like that where you're not really doing anything too risky, I'd say it's always just better to ask for forgiveness than for permission.
There you
at the end of the day, everybody's talking about him. You know.
And unless you're gonna fake that you had a drunken bender and might have gotten kidnapped on Twitter. Like what's his name did in NXT a few weeks ago, and then we never heard anything from him again. So that's probably not a good idea. Moving on, we got I always mess up. Playing pixel art.
Plinian pixel art.
Plinian pixel art with $5. Dis, I finally caved and made an X account. How do we get into the Discord server again? Go to my account. Is AEW Disciplinary. And it is on my profile, so you can find it there. The invite is
or
there.
Send me $5.
Yeah, you
can
buy.
I'll show you to a guy where you can go into the Discord.
You can always buy your way into anything here on Tooney Town Wrestling.
How do you think this got to be the host?
Exactly. I donated. Well, okay, here. So we have another Marv again. The money that I gave to Marv, he is now giving back to himself. Marv with $4.99. Oh, I've heard good things about this show. Kill it tonight, gentlemen. For the Empire. F awful in this show's F Jackie from Howard Stern. Okay. F awful.
I wish I could do the Jackie laugh.
Okay, and the next one. Oh my, who's this guy? Tooney Town TV with $4.99. I think he has a YouTube channel. It's like watching your kids off on their own for the first time, and like in really, like in real life, half of them are black. Okay, so You know, Marv, if you wanted to be on the show, you didn't have to pay yourself to be on the show. You could just come into the chat. We're all here. It doesn't matter.
Don't we have a celebrity line?
Yeah, this just seems like Marv wanting to be on the show. So moving on, we got Ruben Hart with $5. Anyone on the panel a fan of the series Kanakumin? It's a Magna series from '79 that has a bunch of wrestler homages. Anybody? Kev, are you in?
I'm hold on.
Manga. I'm sorry, I pronounced it wrong. Manga. Sorry.
Yeah, don't pull that down because that is going into my I'm gonna look it up because I think and this is for another show. I think Star Trek: The Next Generation borrowed something from that.
Okay.
I have or let's see, what was it? Or what is it? Oh, what's it? We called it Ultimate Muscle. That's right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. It's the it's the Japanese title for Ultimate Muscle.
Okay.
So chances are, if you're under 48, you've seen it on Fox.
Yeah, I spent a lot of.
We all know where Samoa Joe got the Muscle Buster from.
I spent a lot of quarters getting those little rubber wrestling figures when I was a kid. So yeah, Ultimate Muscle. We all know that here, and we got one more. Oh, by the way, real quick, while this is up, let's go back here. Has anybody seen that Ronda Rousey is releasing a graphic novel? Who's excited about the Ronda Rousey graphic novel?
Oh, that's cool.
I bought 10 copies yesterday.
What's that, Awful?
I said I bought 10 copies yesterday. Ran out of toilet paper.
Oh.
I'm all about Ronda Rousey as long as she doesn't show that cauliflower ear of hers.
All right.
I think it's like 129 pages or so. They were advertising the page count. So, I'm not into graphic novels anymore, but I guess that might be a thing now to advertise your page count, but
they're all sticking together by the end of it. So
yeah, so there's that, and then she also has a Netflix series coming out, I believe. So we're gonna have a lot of, I guess, Ronda talking bad about WWE here to talk about in the next few months.
Do you think she had it? She knew, like, what's her name? Who's the WWE champion? The females, Liv Morgan. Do you think that she knew Liv Morgan had it in her? That's why she gave her the championship. Like, she was the one that defeated Ronda Rousey for the title.
I don't, because I don't think Ronda has shut up about how terrible that idea was since she did it, right?
Well, she did.
I if I remember correctly, I think Ronda was not happy about losing to a diva, so to speak, as she saw her at the time. So I might be wrong. I know there was somebody. I know she didn't like losing to Lacey Evans, or she didn't want to lose to Lacey Evans. I believe Liv might have been a problem too, but I'm not 100% sure. And since I'm not, we're just going to move on and act like you didn't say anything. Plenty of pixel art with $5, sending another $5 to Marv, despite Awful's request for $5. So Awful, you don't get $5. Instead, Marv will get it. Moving on, Samurai Sam, what are the outcomes y'all are expecting from SummerSlam? I think if we have time at the end of the show, we're going to go through our SummerSlam predictions. So we will save that for then, and I will bring this back up at that point. And then we have a Jackie Boy. Oh, well, he says Cody, which I think, yes. Anyway, we have Jackie Boy with 10 pounds. Joe is a marketing genius and his confidence is unreal. He's talking about Joe Hendry here. I attended the wrestling school he runs in Edinburgh, and he's honestly amazing. He deserves all the praise and attention he gets.
How old is Joe?
30s.
Young guy. Okay.
I mean, he's been around for a bit. I don't know if he could teach you as much as, say, a Parker Bordeaux.
Oh, stop.
But it's nice to know that he is giving back. And then we got John JID back. Here's some money for y'all to get a chair shaver. That beautifully takes us into our next topic. Thank you, John. He always is so great with that. The
segues.
The segues, yeah. John JID is a great tool for segues here. I'm not saying he's a tool, but he
I'll say
does.
it.
Okay, you can say it. He did disagree with you one time, so I'm pretty sure you hate him.
Yeah, I like
On
John a
that
lot.
S list.
You are quite a grifter. If you didn't notice, he is a grifter extraordinaire.
Here I am.
There has been a lot of discourse on the IWC this week about chair shots because at Blood and Guts, if anybody, that was last Wednesday at Dynamite, Mark Briscoe actually gave an unprotected chair shot to Jack Perry while he was handcuffed to the cage and had no way to protect himself, right to his forehead, which is much worse than the top of the head. Kevin, would you like to explain why?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I don't know if anybody's ever seen the movie Gladiator, not the Russell Crowe one, but the Cuba Gooding Jr. one. They explain this principle. The very top of your head is the hardest part of your body. It's the most sturdy. So when you go back and watch old school ECW, right? So whenever you saw Bubba, this was Bubba or Balls or Axel, anytime they took one of those horrific chair shots, it was always tin chucked, top of head out, and then it took the blow. It took the blow. Anything else? I think I wanted this rant on Twitter. And even with all the protections of like football helmets, so I think use space age technology, air, everything. The skull still moves. Like if I hit it here, just as gentle as this, your brain has sustained an impact. It is moving around. So in 2024, to be seeing to see a dollar store reenactment of the chair shot heard around the world, it is baffling. It's baffling. We know just too much to be doing stuff like that. It's insane. And the worst part is, or actually maybe it's the best part, because the match itself was just straight garbage with an even more garbage finish. So everybody being obsessed on this dumb chair shot is probably helping them a little bit. But the fact that they're doubling down on this nonsensical lie that no one believed, no one except for the Freakazoids believed. And
they don't believe it. They don't believe it. They don't believe it.
I don't really think they believe it. I think they're just saying it for the sake of, they're hoping to wish themselves in the payroll someday. But it's not a good look. It's just not a good look. You had QT Marshall melting down again today this morning. Like, bro, like, what are you doing? It's pitiful. It's straight up pitiful. It is. This is another one of those things where, like, if you are realistic about AEW, it's embarrassing to say that you watch AEW. It's just my mind is blown. I don't get it.
Yeah, we'll get to the finish later because the finish, it's a bad finish, and it's one they reuse the finish too. It's ridiculous. Swerve, chair shots. Do you believe a chair can be shaved?
No, but the engagement between AEW neckbeards and Jimmy Corderas, the WWE referee on Twitter, was amazing. Amazing.
Producer, yes, he is amazing, and all these big accounts love neckbeards. It's insane. Awful. I know you have some stuff. I've seen you say a lot of stuff about this.
I'm gonna be very quick. If you've noticed, we haven't heard from three people. We haven't heard from Mr. Briscoe. We've not heard from Jungle Jack Perry, and we've not heard from Tony Khan on the validity of this whole shaven chair nonsense. And we'll never hear from them because. Wait. Go ahead. Sure.
We may, because we have the media call from ROH and the media scrum to go over still that I've compacted down to a tight 13 minutes.
Right. I heard what he said about that. It's so funny. It's so hilarious to me how he wants to pick and choose when it's going to be kayfabe for his company. Like, give me a break. Oh, we're trying to hide the magic from you. No. It's a very simple question. Did you shave down? Was this a fake chair or not? If it wasn't, own up to it. Okay,
you can't shave down.
No, you can't.
Kind of a chair. If you were stupid enough to try, you made it more lethal. Okay, you're gonna rip someone's face off.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Right now, let's hear what our good friend of the show, by the way, and especially our producer Neckbeards, or Howdy as he's being called right now, Jimmy Corderas has said about this. Let's. I have his video right here, actually.
With a folding steel chair. Guess what? It's not gimmicked. You know why? Because you can't gimmick these things. So get it out of your head. It is impossible. If it's made of wood, maybe you can shave it down a little bit, but guess what? Steel chairs? That's what you get. Thank you.
This has been Jimmy Corderas TED Talk.
Jimmy Corderas is a national treasure.
Yeah.
And I would love to have him on the show someday. I'll just say that much. So this is why I've been waiting all week to ask Kev about this, and you've already kind of alluded to it. How ridiculous is the idea that you can shave down a chair to where it is safe to hit somebody in the forehead as hard as you possibly can with
it? There's a word I could use that would get us demonetized. You are blank that word if you think that is something that can happen. Because it's just, again, we always say you can't do it. Let's say someone was stupid enough to take a grinder and just try it. You're never gonna have enough time to make it smooth enough. Let's say you did do it and it rips open. Now the person's got staples in their forehead, so you made the move worse. Like, even with whatever stunt chair you want to get, wooden chair, steel chair, it's just a chair shot. Just have the ownership, take accountability, say, hey, it was a dumb stunt, but anything can happen in the heat of battle, and we're going to work to make sure we keep our athletes safer. They can't do that, because every time you watch this show for the last 5.5 years, we all know we're that much closer to watching a human being die on live TV because of the dumb stuff that they do. So this is just one more pit stop on the road to someone's demise. It's goofy. It's goofy that we are almost a week away from the original incident, and we're still blathering on about this. It's just dumb.
Yeah. It's silly.
Is that what Jungle Boy needs to do to get over at this point, you think?
Yes.
Well, he couldn't get over if you actually put him in a catapult and shot him over the freaking moon. It ain't but yeah, that's what they have to do. He essentially has to be the sacrificial lamb in order to do it, but Captain devoid of charisma, it ain't gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen.
This was the same buffoon that told us on live television, real glass, and now we're supposed to believe that it's a fake chair. Give me a
and real fire too.
Yeah. Well, it's leave it to AEW to find a way to make fire, not a finishing maneuver. You set this.
No, it wasn't until it was. Right?
It wasn't until it was. When we did it the pay-per-view, we actually set his entire body on fire. It was but a minor inconvenience.
Yeah.
and now we had to stop the match because you were afraid we were going to set him on fire again. And I have this, it might be a weird thing, but I have this thing where, like, whenever you watch wrestling, when someone tells you that they're going to commit a premeditated act of criminal homicide, we all know you can't do it because you're going to go to prison for the rest of your life. So why are you saying you're going to do it? I know that the jorts wearing lesbian, in Halloween paint isn't going to actually set this man on fire, and murder him on live TV.
Right.
I know that the Bucks Twink is going to sit there and be burned alive in front of a live studio audience, and no one's going to do anything about it. Why are you insulting my intelligence?
There was a live stabbing, gentlemen, on that show as well. See, a lot of people overlook the fact that I can't remember, Max Caster used scissors to hack at the head of one of his opponents. I can't remember who, but it's just like, what are you guys doing? This serves no purpose. First off, you guys don't even strike me as violent. You know what I mean? Like, nobody seems like one of those tough guys. Maybe Mr. Briscoe. And I'm saying Mr. Briscoe because I can't remember if he's Jay or Mark. Correct me, gentlemen.
It's Mark. Yeah,
it's Mark. Okay. Yeah. So Mark Briscoe looks like the only legit professional wrestler in that entire match. Everybody else looked like cosplay. And the chair shot, again, was one of the more least offensive things that happened in that match.
I actually do think it's funny that it's taken him so much because it was so fast. It was like a Sabu chair shot. The only difference is his arms were. I'm like, again, I go like, we're trying to compare it to the chair shot heard around the world. If you've never seen it, go look it up. Tommy Dreamer Raven. When you see it, you will almost immediately feel sick that you saw it.
Mike Awesome matches too.
Awesome and Tanaka matches. You're like, what am I watching? The
Foley versus Rock is the one that always comes to my mind. Foley versus Rock at Royal Rumble. Swerve, you were about to say something there a little bit.
I was wondering, since AEW Awful brought it up with the scissors, do you think that they put out a PR stunt with all their little minions to talk more about that chair shot so people won't be talking about, hey, somebody stabbed somebody with scissors in the match?
I didn't see the spot. So was it like the New Jack or like he buds it up and he does one of those, or was like Max like actually shanking somebody?
Great question. If that movement with the scissors, it was like the blades of the scissors were showing, but he was pounding on the guy's head with his with the lower part of his hand. So it appeared as if he was stabbing ferociously on him, but wasn't really making any contact. More scissor though. More Singer scissor.
It wasn't Balls.
Right.
It wasn't Balls Mahoney coming out and just slicing somebody's head open like he used to do back in the day.
Right. Yeah. No.
Man, I saw sidetrack here. I was at a local show and it was Balls Mahoney versus Madman Pondo, and they might as well just shot each other in the face. Like that's all. The whole time it was them cutting themselves with different things. It was the worst wrestling match I've ever seen, but I marked out like a big boy is what I'll say. All right, we got another before we move on to the video. Jackie Boy is giving me 40 lashings because it is pronounced Edinburgh, like bruh. Put some respect on his hometown's name. I apologize. The chair shot was ridiculous. Briscoe literally looked like he was trying to inject. He might have been. I don't get the feeling that Briscoe cares much for anybody else in that match.
Right.
Especially, I don't think he cares much for AEW, considering that, while his brother was alive, they kept him off TV for a couple years because of past instances, and then suddenly his brother dies and he's gonna take the paycheck because he has two families to support now. So I don't blame the man at all, but I don't really get the feeling that Mark Briscoe cares too much about AEW. I think he does care about ROH. He does care about ROH.
So while everybody was talking about the chair shots, very quickly, I want to talk about, well, not even talk about, but I want to let people know, like, there were staples to the back to Swerve Strickland by all the Young Bucks. There was a spot where Max Caster ate a whole bunch of thumbtacks and then got super kicked in the mouth by Matt Jackson. What other stupid nonsense?
While you're talking about
that was in the beginning of the effing match.
Yeah,
within 10 minutes.
While you're talking about the Swerve spot, look at that visual. Go back and look up Swerve getting stapled from that match. It is the Elite circling Swerve and stapling him while he is on the ground. The Elite, the four whitest men I've ever seen in my life, and Okada, who is white. I'm sorry, he's white adjacent, right? That's what we can say. White adjacent. And they have Swerve on the ground and they are stapling his back repeatedly over and over. It's just not a good visual.
Right.
But hey, whatever. Hey,
they went to commercial right before they pulled out the noose.
Yeah, give them the face. Give the Elite the face finish. Give them the sympathy points at the end of the match. That makes a whole lot of sense. After everything they've done, it makes sense. Let them be the ones that show compassion and beg for mercy. Right? That's what we want to do. Because
Remember when the NWO was whipping on The Rock a long time ago? They lightened the entire screen so as to not give The Rock the appearance of being darker. Like he was just as white as Hogan, Hall, and Nash during that whole thing, because they know, like, optics, this looks bad. Now listen, folks, I mean, never in the history of the world have black people been stapled to trees, but at the very same time, it's not the best look to have, you know.
Or a cowboy coming down, handcuffing Swerve to the fence. That's when I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. How about Swerve breaking into a white man's house in the middle of, Kentucky or something,
right,
and standing over his child? AEW doesn't understand optics. So I see that we have a couple more super chats. We will get to them in a bit, but right now we really okay. Actually, this one is relevant to this conversation right now. Whitest man you ever see. Sheamus is offended from Billy Pixel Art. $2. Thank you, sir. That is true. I sidetracked it. Sheamus keeps himself that pale because it looks so good when he gets hit, right? To break those blood vessels open and get to see. Okay, I just want to make sure we're all together on that. Okay. But you earlier, Awful, said that Tony Khan has not commented on this. Well, Tony Khan has had 3 opportunities to comment on this. He did the media call, the media scrum, and San Diego Comic-Con. Now, San Diego Comic-Con was all work crap and coked up. Tony was on coke. I'm sorry. Go look at those pictures.
Wow, that's quite an accusation out here.
Allegedly.
I've always, yes, allegedly. I've always said that he looked like he took Adderall as a prescription, right? Mm-hmm. That's what he looked like to me. But man, he looked out of his gourd at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
If you want to see it, look at the thumbnail for this show. Yeah, allegedly. By me.
Is this their first time there at SDCC?
No, I'm pretty sure they've done it before. It's probably the biggest time because of Mercedes.
Yeah, I would say it's probably the biggest one because San Diego Comic-Con's kind of been lame the last batch of years anyway. But yeah, I saw the pictures and I'm like, whoa, come on, bro. What are you doing? What are you doing? Your nose is red like Rudolph. Your lips are red. You have a legitimate flop sweat. Like, your eyes look like they want to explode out of your head. So your blood pressure is like 210 over 190. And you're screaming like he looked like Ray Liotta at the end of Goodfellas.
Yeah, exactly.
That is I thought you were going to say at the end of his life.
And by the way, when I said I meant Coca-Cola. He had a lot of caffeine in his system. Obviously, you're
still getting sued. This, all right? Don't try to run away from it.
You sue me. What do I got?
No matter what you say.
We do have this one too that goes along with what we're saying. Jackie Boy with 5 pounds literally looked like an 1800s plantation punishment colorized. Okay. Sorry if that offends anyone.
I wish I didn't say it because there are certain people on X, counselor, that stretch it just a little bit too far, and it's just like, okay, listen, if I'm of the opinion of if Swerve brought it up or approved of it, there's not much you can say. He's silly or stupid for doing so, but yeah, for jokes, shits and giggles, yeah, it looks, the optics look bad, but in reality, I mean, it was just another stupid spot of many stupid spots in that match.
Yeah, well, once New Jack and Mustafa made the staple gun a staple of ECW matches, you can't really knock anybody for wanting to do it,
right?
Other than we think it's a really stupid thing to do. But like, if you're gonna do it, you're not calling the spot doesn't make you a grand dragon of the clan,
right? They didn't use whips, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay? I don't think, I'm not going to blame anyone in. This is something that people on the top level should be seeing and noticing that it is bad optics. And that's all.
What do you think WBD saw?
Yeah,
I mean-
exactly. That's the point. It's not about what it meant. It's not about, I don't think that anybody is actually racist. I think that they are dumb because of how bad the optics are when you do something like that.
Yeah.
So thank
And
you
the race
again.
baiters cling on to that. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. You're giving people bait and and they're okay. The channel changers, those are the ones that are going to be taken aback by it, right? The people
Right.
that are just skimming through the channels, trying to find something to watch, and suddenly there's a black man being stapled by 4 white men in the middle of a cage. Okay. You think they want to stop, or do you think they're going to write a letter? That's all I'm
the
saying.
new episode of Oz.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you again, Jackie Boy, for your 5 pounds. You've always been a good supporter. And now it is time, like I said earlier, we talked about how they didn't respond. He's had 3 opportunities, and I have condensed 2 opportunities down into 13 minutes because I cut out all of the crap and I sped it up. So here it is.
Folks, you got to listen to this. This is incredible.
We are going to get into Tony Khan, which I decorated a little bit here. And I just pulled out the relevant questions because there was a lot of fluff. There was a lot of easy questions. He doesn't get the same. It seems like he doesn't get the same scrutiny now that Triple H does at his stuff. Like, you wait till you get to Brandon Thurston's question here, because remember
our boy
Thurston,
Brandon.
Yes, our good friend Brandon Thurston. It's a trip, and I'll there's a couple things. Red Velvet said something that I thought was interesting, but I wasn't going to include her whole thing, so I'll stop when it gets to it and I'll explain. But here we go. We're starting off hot.
Net is next, to be followed by Dominic D'Angelo from One True Sports.
In unprotected chair shots to the head in pro wrestling lately, including one on last night's Dynamite show. And I know you've had Chris Nowinski in to deliver seminars about head trauma, and I'm sure you're aware of the damage of CTE given your status as a member of an NFL.
Okay, I'm stopping it already. Did anybody know that they've had Chris Nowinski in?
No.
Did they?
That's what he just said. And I've been wondering where Chris Nowinski is during all this, because for the past 2 years they've been doing this stuff. And usually Chris Nowinski is all over it, but I haven't heard a peep out of him. So, but this, they just said, Dominic, whatever, just said that Chris Nowinski has given seminars there. So that's shocking, because I've heard that in TNA, after Chris Nowinski seminars, some of the hardcore wrestlers came out crying because they regretted their actions so much after hearing Chris Nowinski has to say.
Maven talks about listening to him, and he has some sad stories about saying that he might not even live to like 50, man. And he like cries, and it's like, damn.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So you got hardcore TNA wrestlers coming out of them crying, and AEW, on the other hand, does this. I don't know. I'd be very interested to hear what Chris Nowinski has to say about this, but let's listen to what Tony has to say about it. All right.
Ownership family. So what is your stance on unprotected chair shots? Is there something being done to gimmick these chairs that in your mind makes it okay?
It's a great question, and it was a very nuanced question. There's a couple different things in there, and I think the nuance you added to it made it even better. Quite serious question. I don't necessarily want to get into pro wrestling, and I love that we analyze the mechanics of pro wrestling and the things going on. I do like to leave some of the art of this and some of the kayfabe of this in the wrestling, and I think that's the best.
Okay. Tony here is talking about the art of kayfabe. Is that what he's doing?
You heard right. The art of kayfabe.
Yes.
And by saying kayfabe, he's breaking kayfabe. It's the most unbelievable thing.
And not only that, but his minions, his goons, QT Marshall, have been going out on X saying it's a gimmick chair. Don't worry about it, guys. But here, with only press, this is a media call. This is not the scrum. This is not something that is broadcast live. This is a press media scrum, and he is saying, "I want to keep it kayfabe. I want to keep that a secret. The secret is you didn't do anything to the chair. That's the secret."
I was thinking, what was the nuance in the question? It was pretty straightforward.
He's an idiot. That's all I got to say.
Inconceivable. Is that Tony's inconceivable?
He's
The
amazing.
question is nuanced.
All right, moving on. Let's listen.
way to do it. But I thought it was a great match. Everybody came out of it in great shape, all things considered. I mean, everyone's beat up bad, but to be honest, this is probably the least major injuries we've ever had coming out of a blood and guts match or one of these very brutal multi-man death matches.
Okay, I want to stop here because this brings you to what QT Marshall said on Twitter. QT Marshall said, name me one person whose career ended over a chair shot. Yeah. And that is so much gaslighting because you can't. Because careers don't end from chair shots. They're shortened because of chair shots. Lives are shortened because of chair shots. Quality of life is lowered because of chair shots.
Families are shortened if you think about it.
Yeah. I mean,
good one.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
we are less than when did Raven go into the TNA Hall of Fame?
Last year, right?
Last year. So like roughly around when Raven went into the Hall of Fame. Dreamer was talking about him Busted Open about how he saw him, and I guess there was some kind of weird residual heat between the two of them because Tommy had voiced an opinion on Raven's health, and Raven disagreed with it. And the long and the short of it is that Dreamer, after the chair shot heard around the world, feels horribly guilty for the mental state that Raven is in. He feels like he is directly to blame for a lot of Raven's health issues. And Tommy went on like this impassioned speech for about 45 minutes talking about this on probably the biggest wrestling the biggest wrestling show out there. So to sit down and gaslight everybody and act like this hasn't been a topic of discussion, that goes into my favorite 4-letter T word that I'm not allowed to use anymore. But but it's like I just don't get it. This is one of those things where when you look at this company, well, again, listen. You do they love to directly compare themselves to the WWE. When something like this has happened to the WWE, they never run from it.
No,
they actually steer headfirst into it and just absorb the consequences. But they get their narrative out. Their narrative is based on taking responsibility. And then they eat their S sandwich and then they move on. These buffoons are making this worse. They're making it worse, and it's amateur hour on steroids. Every time these guys open their mouths, it's almost malfeasant how bad they are at this 5 years in.
Definitely. Okay, let's move on.
And I'm glad everyone's going to be okay. It's a really beat up group, but all things considered, came out very well. I think it's a great question. I don't think all these spots are created equal. There's different spots, different ways to do things. And I don't want to compare apples to oranges necessarily. I think
what?
These truths to be self-evident that all spots are created equal.
I loved watching Swerve during that because it's like when you show a dog a treat and they're like, huh? Swerve had that look.
Because he said, considering that all things bad that could have happened, everything went pretty well. Like, what was the other option? Death, like
right.
My thing here is that he talks about it like he says not all spots are created equal. So what is this spot then? And what are we not supposed to compare it to? Like, you need more context. And you know what? Yeah, right. Like, exactly. I mean, no, you're not wrong. Like, let's listen. Let's see if he gives context because he might. He might.
Well, it's a great question. And, there's definitely.
Sorry, Kev, what'd you say?
I wanted to, I know it's not a super chat, but it's pertinent to the conversation. So we got Chris Matthews here. Dude, real talk. I almost died from a baseball to the head. A baseball. So these people with steel chairs irk the hell out of me. So like, there are tons and tons and tons of real life examples. We had someone die in a soccer game from a soccer ball to the head not too long ago, right? So like, there's real world examples. And again, listen, if you are of a certain age and you played sports during if you played sports before 2005, you were told, oh, your bell got run, walk it off.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you weren't vomiting, you were fine. And if you were vomiting, what did they tell you? Well, just don't go to sleep.
Yeah.
So
don't lay on your back.
Yeah, don't lay on your back, don't go to sleep.
Yeah.
So it's like here we are now. And again, thanks to the good work of Chris Nowinski, and a lot of unfortunate early NFL deaths, like we know better. So why is this crap still happening? And why are they so adamant about defending it? You effed up.
Worst PR in history.
Yeah, and you're totally right. I do want to point out, by the way, I see last call, a couple of people have some super chats. We will get to them. It's just I want to keep it on topic right now. So let's hear. Maybe we need to give Tony a chance to clear this up. So let's go. Let's keep going.
Some mystery to be left to how things are done, and how things might be done now might not be the same way they would be done 25 years ago, just to do the same spot, for example. But I think it was a great nuance question, and I appreciate you asking. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
Oh, that's it.
Dominic D'Angelo.
Didn't even answer the question.
Didn't even answer the question. And we're just moving on.
Yes.
That was Jason Powell, by the way, who credit to Jason Powell from ProWrestling.net for asking a good question. That was a good question, because I edited this particular interview down from over an hour to 12 minutes because the rest of the questions were not relevant or anything but fluff. These are the only things that mean anything. So,
Tony, Denise Salcedo from wherever the hell. What's your favorite ice cream?
And for the record, you can find these on YouTube and other places. They've been posted on many different channels.
Yeah.
If you want to hear Tony go on about how great Ring of Honor is, you can. But I did not edit to take anything out of context. I want to make that very clear. All my editing was done just for time, but all the context is given. So moving on.
To be followed by Stephanie Chase from Stephanie Chase Wrestling. Dominic.
Okay. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi.
Oh, hi.
This is actually, I cut out Dominic's question. This is actually Stephanie, if anybody's keeping track.
You're currently in negotiations regarding AEW's TV deal, and Ring of Honor's now been on Honor Club for nearly 2 years. Is Ring of Honor part of the package you're negotiating, or have you looked into getting it on TV again?
Yes, I have. I've had good conversations with Warner Brothers Discovery, and Ring of Honor has come up in these conversations, which is
awful. What do you think a good conversation is?
Hey, what are you doing next weekend? We're playing 18 holes next weekend. You'll notice that he never talks about a negotiation. He's always been, in fact, ever since this topic has been brought up, Tony Khan has not mentioned the words negotiation all that frequently. He has mentioned conversations. He's either talking to his friends or whatever, but he's not talking to bigwigs. And oh man, I just have so much to say about this. I honestly don't believe there are any negotiations. I don't believe that there's a third party. So many things are coming to light with Tony Khan and his egregious lies. Yeah. It's crazy.
And here's some more.
Exciting. It's really a great time for the wrestling business and for AEW, and an exciting time for ROH also, with AEW negotiating major media rights package and having these in-depth and exciting conversations that we're having right now with Warner Brothers Discovery as we speak. I think it's tremendous for ROH to be involved in this. And yes, it's something we have discussed. It's a great brand. We produce great Ring of Honor content weekly, and the pay-per-view shows like this Death Before Dishonor, as well as a great library of historical content and trademarks and all kinds of IP opportunities.
So what are the chances ROH ends up on national television after this deal is done?
I think we could probably, actually, no, I don't think it's as damaged as WCW was at the time. Like, we all know when when there was talk about trying to protect WCW, they were told no because it was a defeated brand. So it had the stink of failure attached to it. ROH, I think it's a little different because, let's be honest, only diehards knew that ROH was a thing. I've said it a billion times on this show. If there was a good match on ROH, the next question should be, if a good match happens in ROH and there's no one around to see it, was it a good match? It was the proverbial tree in the woods. So, technically ROH could be a brand new thing to a mass audience on a national cable deal. And frankly, I could see it happening just because I think they have to be aware that AEW has a little too much TV time. Like, we get it. We have Collision because it was supposed to be the Punk show. Collision isn't even like the D show at this point. And I don't even know what letter you can assign to Rampage. The Rampage is really it's what Dark was. It's just unfortunate that those two shows probably get less viewers than Dark ever did on YouTube. Yeah. So if they were smart, yeah, sure. As they're trying to parlay the deal, right? There is no third party interested in them, right? So there is no urgency on WB Discovery's part, right? Like, sure, fine. They probably want to keep them around because it's 52 weeks of easy to produce TV, and even though no one watches the show, I guess when you compare it to a lot of what's on cable, they still do relatively well. As long as AEW doesn't get below. As long as AEW doesn't drop below 600,000 people, they're probably not at a point of no return, in terms of what you put on cable. So yeah, fine, they'll get the deal eventually. They're not going to get the mega deal that I think he's trying to hold out for. Warner Brothers just doesn't have the money. And now that we know TNT isn't going to get basketball, there's going to be a blood fight. It's going to be straight Kumote for the UFC rights. WB and Disney are going to be fighting hard to get UFC. So that doesn't leave a lot of money for for AEW. They do just well enough that you can keep them around, but not well enough that you're going to give a bunch of time. I could see one of two things. Dynamite goes to 3 hours. Collision goes to an hour, and Rampage becomes ROH.
I was going to say, if ROH gets a show, it'll be at the expense of either Rampage or Collision.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to. I'm sure WBD's like, I don't care what you call that Friday night show. Do whatever you want. I don't care. Just give us an hour of TV every Friday.
Fine. Like, we laugh. No one really watches it, but it's still probably more people that would be watching it at that time slot.
Right. So, okay, moving on.
Yes, it's an active conversation now, and Ring of Honor is part of the bigger AEW discussions that we're having. It's a great question. Thanks, Steph.
Thank you, Stephanie. Samantha Shipman from the Daily DDT is next, to be followed by Arunabal Ghoshal from Sportskeeda. Samantha?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Sorry, there was a delay. So I was curious because we see Death Before Dishonor is tomorrow night, and as of today, I know that we have an Honor Club episode coming up tonight. We have 5 matches announced for the main card, and typically by this time we have maybe 7 or 8 matches plus a 0 hour card. Can you talk a little bit about why you have, will there be more matches added, and then why these matches have not been announced prior to the show? As in,
okay, listen to how defensive Tony gets immediately. Okay, by the way, listen to this.
As you have with previous pay-per-views.
Well, we've announced 6 matches. So we've announced 6, not 5. I'll be honest, if other companies announce 6 matches for a pay-per-view or even 5 matches for a pay-per-view, I don't think they get as much stick as I do. And I think pretty much anything I do in wrestling, I get more stick than anybody else per capita for just about anything I do. If I sneeze, people are mad at me.
Okay, he took an honest question. And he turned it into poor Tony, woe is me. Look at how awful they treat me, and look how great they treat WWE. Nobody cares when they do 5 matches, but when I do 5 matches, everyone complains. And by the way, it's 6. It's not 5. Tony can't take an ounce of criticism, ounce before pouncing.
No.
There's nothing really relevant.
Dude, he comes up with answers to questions not even asked. I mean,
and his response is, but WWE. That's his response. He's an internet troll. That's all he is. That's all he ever was. And he can't.
Coach Tony K.
Yeah, Coach Tony K from the DVD boards. That's all he is. And that's all he ever will be.
Hey, Dave, are you there?
Oh, okay. This one's great. This is Meltzer. And I left this in because you get to hear old man Meltzer struggle trying to get on.
Dude, they've got all this time. They listen to this man for about 35, 45 minutes. They get on the air and they stumble, mumble, fumble through their question.
David Dixon's fan was the best, the first one. And CM Punk was like, I hate these guys.
so listen to Meltzer trying to make this work. And then once he does, it gets better. I'm playing right now. This is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, got you now.
Okay. So earlier
Echo.
we were
That's not me.
we had asked about the TV deal, and my question was that for Ring of Honor or even potentially for AEW, is there a possibility of like a split deal, like not just WBD and another network, perhaps? Are you opened up anything in that direction, similar to like what WWE's done, what the NBA's done, things like that?
That's a great question.
Hold on.
Still,
did he try to
right
equate the
now.
WWE to the NBA, just kind of like what the WWE does and what the NBA does and what Halliburton does and what Boeing does? And AEW do the same thing? Like, give me a break with this guy.
Like I said, none of that echo was me. None of that was me. That was all Meltzer. He has no idea how to use a telephone. So let's hear Tony's answer, though. This is a very hard-hitting question from the number one wrestling journalist in the world, by the way. So let's hear what he has to say.
Exclusive window, and I think it's a very interesting possibility, an exciting thought, and very focused right now on the conversations we're having here at TNT and TBS and with Warner Brothers Discovery about AEW and potentially ROH as well. And that right now is 100% of the focus. As we're working through this exclusive period, and they've been such great partners to us. And when you look at the history of pro wrestling, there's so much utility, so much history, and it just fits and feels right for there to be pro wrestling every week on TNT and TBS. And I want to make sure that's still a great American institution, because I really believe in that, and I'm very proud we brought that back with AEW on TNT and TBS every week. I think it's a very exciting time for AEW and now also for ROH because of AEW's profile and the exciting opportunities we have in the media landscape right now for AEW and what we've been able to do with ROH and really grown the brand in exciting ways and built Honor Club.
And dude can't finish a sentence. He has no idea what he's saying. He is making this up as he goes along. He has nothing prepared, but he just keeps repeating himself over and over and over again to fill airtime, I guess.
Yeah, this is what's known as sophistry, or in other words, word salad. Just try to get through the sentence. Try to say as many things as humanly possible to get through the sentence, kind of like what I'm doing right now.
AEW has been unburdened by what has been.
To where it's its all-time high under our leadership and ownership of in terms of streaming subscribers and putting great content on Honor Club. I think that can be an exciting possibility for ROH as well.
Okay, here's my question about this. This is the reason I kept it in. If Honor Club is at an all-time high in terms of subscribers, in terms of views, in terms of profit being brought in, then why does he want to put it anywhere else? Anybody?
No.
Nothing? Bueller? Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense.
Nope.
Honor Club was able to basically support a company for years and years with how much money they were making. And Tony is saying that it's making more now, that it's doing better now. So why would you want to give that up? 100% profit, by the way. Like,
that's
this
baloney. Because their
okay.
streams online come in on perfect HD. You know those streams you go to, and they usually come in choppy. There's no reason why it's coming in HD still.
4K.
So, okay, not 100% profit because you got to pay the streaming guys, but you know what I mean. It's mainly profit. Whereas you go to Max and you're splitting that or not even getting it because it's all wound up in the deal. You're just giving it to Max. Is it because Tony's just a mark and he just wants that exposure and he wants to say, I'm on Ring of Honor is now for the first time ever, it's on a nationally broadcasted streaming service, blah, blah, blah. Or is he just full of crap?
All right.
Anybody?
Who knows, man? But go ahead, Kev.
I don't mean to cut you. Listen, I'll give Tony this. Tony is a terrible booker, but he is one hell of a promoter.
Yes,
he is a carnival barker to the extreme. So he's doing his job. You know, Tony, half of the building exploded. It was horrible. No, it's okay. It's okay because we still have the other half of the building, and those folks are very excited to be here. We're gonna watch Time Cop after. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Did we start the Time Cop meme, by the way? Was that us? Did we start that?
we better be getting credit for it because we broke that here.
Yeah, right. We need a watch along for Time Cop.
Awful. You had something?
Just very simply, it every day, each passing day, I'm starting to realize like it doesn't matter how much money you make. If you're not a well-adjusted human being, if you don't have things like, I don't know, common sense and a desire and a motivation, it doesn't matter how much money you're given or how much money you make, you're not going to be respected. And I think what the wrestling community is going to learn is what the NFL community already knows, what the soccer community already knows about this man. He is feckless when it comes to business. And there's a reason for that. Being 41 years old, 42 years old, and a billionaire means absolutely nothing if you yourself did not make that money and you're riding off the coffers of your dad. I give this man no credit. I give this man no respect, and that's how it's been for me.
Yeah. So, no, it's not a super chat, but I was going to bring this up anyway. Boris in the chat says ROH is probably what's holding up the deal. Do you think Tony? Yeah, I was going to say, do you think Tony is that stubborn, or do you? Or I mean, I guess he could be that much of a mark.
Tony's not that stubborn. I believe WBD is that resolved in their offer. They're not going to change it. January is in about 5 months, 6 months. You've got to have a schedule for television. And what are they doing? Keeping Wednesday at 8 p.m. on TBS? Are they keeping that blank for AEW? If that's the case, we would have had a deal by now.
What if ROH is? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
What if playing devil's advocate? What if ROH is what gets them the deal? Because if I'm Tony Khan, I'm saying, hey, look at our D show that's not even on TV and whatever, and Tubi gave us a deal. So imagine Dynamite WB. Ooh, here's this.
Ooh. Unless Vince Russo's running WBD. I mean, these people are world-class businessmen, okay? Excluding David Zaslav, I don't know too much about him, but bottom line is like he's up against some real sharks, Tony Khan is. And I think that he thinks that like, oh, if I just get in their good graces, if I wear the WBD Discovery hat, they'll see that. And that's not how the business world works. Yeah. You've got to have results. And if you don't have those proper results, they're going to boot you the hell right on out of there. And they're not going to think twice about doing it. They don't owe you nothing, Tony. And that's all I got to say.
All right.
No, you make sense. I was going to laugh about wearing the WB hat and all, but him and Jim Ross went to the UFC wearing their little AEW jackets and UFC points saying like, yeah. UFC.
All right.
And right now we're exclusively talking to Warner Brothers Discovery about
exclusively.
These things, but absolutely, I think there's a lot of demand for AEW in the market, and anything's possible. But definitely very excited about everything at Warner Brothers Discovery right now. Thanks, Dave.
How dumb is that?
That was his first mistake in trying to be exclusive. Somebody told me, like, in hindsight, like, because I wasn't thinking back about it that much, but someone told me, like, yeah, the worst thing that could have happened was he had to deal with WBD exclusively because he gets a very short window to operate and try to sell his shit to other networks.
Right. He has no leverage. None.
So even then, he wouldn't have really had any to begin with because they were unproven. Again, this isn't like the WWE, coming in and during the territory days and gobbling all the territories up, so they're buying all their airspace.
Right.
And then cable comes along and you have all these fledgling networks, and all of a sudden you sign a very comfortable deal with USA Network that carries you over the next 40-something years, 50 years. They came into a very crowded space, and for better or worse, You know, they are the number 3 combat sport, organization, but they don't have a proven history. WWE, they have decades worth of barn burner numbers that kind of changed how you watch TV. You go back to the 80s, they dominated everything. The 90s, the Austin era, Raw was doing numbers that rivaled Monday Night Football, beat Monday Night Football occasionally. And when you combine Nitro and Raw together, destroyed Monday Night Football by a few million people. Even when in the EVR era, Raw has always still kind of maintained the top, or has kept the USA Network the number 1 network. AEW doesn't have that, so they wouldn't have the negotiation power. At least, with the exclusivity, they assured themselves a little comfort in knowing that when the deal was up, that for the sake of the deal was exclusive, there would be at least meaningful conversations about continuing. What I don't think they expected was to not have anybody knocking on the door, even a little curious, about the show. I would say that was probably unexpected. Because you would think that one of these other networks out here that are kind of struggling, and as we're trying to, realign what the viewer wants, that someone would come looking, but no one did.
But Kev, check it out. AEW wouldn't even have been on television had it not been for one of the executives in WDB who helped Tony out. That man is gone now. Yep. And so what sort of, as you guys have said, what sort of leverage do you have? You have none. We are in August, gentlemen.
Well, and remember too, the moment he was gone, Dynamite got moved.
Yeah,
it changed networks.
And I think something that we overlook is that we say, well, they don't have anything else to put on. What are they going to put on that'll go 52 weeks a year? But the fact is that they could always throw on repeats of Big Bang Theory, and while yes, it wouldn't get the same ratings, they could end up, going even on it because they don't have to pay for it any more than they already are. Right. So that's where I think their leverage comes in. They could replace them with Family Guy and get comparable money advertising wise. And even if they don't get as good of ratings, they're not spending the money to get it. And, so moving on.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you. We have Brandon Thurston from WrestleNomics.
Brandon Thurston, our boy.
Will be next, followed by Brian Zillum from PW Torch. Brandon.
Let's hear this ground-shaking question.
If there's any truth to the report that there's an agreement in principle between AEW and WBD for a TV renewal.
Okay, so let me ask the question that's been asked 3 times already, and we know that Tony won't answer. Let's do that. Mind you, this is the man that every time he's in front of Triple H asks him about Vince McMahon. Every time he is within earshot of Triple H, he is screaming the name Vince McMahon at him. When he finally gets to talk to Tony Khan, he says, "Hey, how about that TV deal, buddy?" That's all he says. There's nothing better. There's nothing better to ask him than the same question he's already been asked 3 times. And by the way, Tony, of course.
Well, we're having great talks.
Everything's fine.
It's still in conversation. So I think that would be premature to say we're all set and done, because that's, still what we're working on. So having great talks, including today, and I've had some great meetings with the executive team, Mr. Zasloff, Kathleen Finch, Bruce Campbell, and the great
Bruce Campbell.
Warner Brothers.
Yeah, is that Bruce Campbell? Because I really wanted to check that out and be like, really? He runs? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Here's Tony saying he's name dropping people.
Discovery. They've put a lot of time in and had a lot of great meetings and conversations. So it's still something we're all working on together. So yeah, I think it would be premature to say that for sure. But also important to note that it's a very good ongoing dialogue that we're having. Thanks, Brandon.
Wars have been started, fought, lost, or won quicker than these darn negotiations.
Here, probably with Brian Zillum from PW Torch. We may have a couple more write-ins here, actually, Tony. But Brian, you're up next.
Hey, Jim, can I tell you something?
Yes, sir.
Well, Brian.
This
okay,
idiot.
okay, this is great. This is great because Tony comes in and says, and another thing. And this is,
And then he tried to lightweight throw Brad under the bus or Brandon under the bus, like, well, since Brandon brought it up. No, nobody brought anything up.
Yeah.
You heard that little voice in your head, like, yeah, bring it up.
Here it is.
And the
Interesting.
bullshit starts.
This is it.
I don't usually do this, but since Brandon brought it up and asked, I had a major member of the wrestling media mention to me yesterday. WWE is telling people that, and I don't know why WWE is telling people about our media rights deal. I don't really know any of their business. I don't really understand why WWE PR calls people and talks about my business. WWE PR is telling people that the deal is done and that the deal is done.
Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Because I got a question for the for all of you guys. Do you guys really think WWE PR is giving any sort of information about AEW to anyone?
No.
Can I? They aren't. But the first thing that pops in my mind is NWA. They were looking for a channel, sort of the same situation AEW was in, and they were speaking with CW. WWE got wind of it, and then they went in there with NXT. NXT took that spot.
Well,
so I don't know.
To be fair,
it's NWA versus. Yeah, go ahead.
To be fair, NWA had somebody snort coke live on pay-per-view. So
that ruined that.
I can clean that up a little bit. The NWA and CW had a handshake agreement, and nothing was finalized. It was a handshake, and then we decided to snort coke on a pay-per-view. And the CW was like, nah, maybe this is going to work. Let's see who's available out there.
And they're still putting them on streaming. They're still putting NWA on streaming.
So they sent feelers out to the WWE, and the WWE responded to me, said, yeah, we'll do it, whatever you need. That was that. If we didn't, for whatever reason, decide to have James Mitchell snorting coke on pay-per-view, the one thing I always go, if Vince hasn't done it, no one should do it. There's probably a reason why he didn't do it, especially between 97 and 2001.
Yeah.
What a great... Could you please say that again, Kev? Please. If Vince McMahon did not do it, don't do it. That's beautiful.
Had his son-in-law simulate sex with a dead body on live television.
And it's being shouted in the chat, and it's true. CW did send feelers out to ROH too. That was something that happened.
That's true. Yeah.
And they were turned down.
And Tony turned them down.
So, moving on. I mean, it's the same topic. You know what I mean?
At the same level that it was going to be our previous deal. That's not the case. I don't know why WWE PR and why major wrestling media members who are very credible and have never lied to me are, I don't know why they're telling people that.
They did lie to you. Now, here's what happened. Here's what this is just my opinion, okay? But this is actually what happened. Somebody needs to stir some stuff up, and they know that when they get Tony in a hissy, people will go to their website. So they told Tony, hey, buddy, did you know WWE? WWE told me that you have a deal and it's exactly the same. Isn't that all? You should say something about it. You should go out and say something about it. And then Tony's like, what? I'm going to go talk about it. And then Tony went into these things and he said his piece. And now all those websites are getting all these clicks and all this engagement because Tony said it. Why would you take something from a wrestling journalist who makes money directly on wrestling drama seriously?
I wouldn't be shocked if Triple H was sitting in his office. He's like, that idiot's going to be in front of a live mic in 3 days. Hello, Dave. This is Vincenzo.
Tony. Triple H actually messaged me.
Do you think that Janelle Grant's no longer with the WWE at Lana Steiner?
Oh, it's good. Marv's gone. Okay.
None of their business. I think WWE PR really gets involved in a lot of things they shouldn't get involved in. And I can tell you that is very untrue because when we make a deal for AEW, it's going to be a great deal with a big increase.
There it is right there.
We're in a really good position.
That's it.
Beautiful. The most beautiful deal you've ever seen.
That's what they tell him all the time.
Huge
It's
deal.
gonna be a great deal.
A huge deal.
It'll be the best deal.
It'll be the best deal. It'll be broadcast in China. You'll love it. Your mothers will love it. Everyone. It'll be the greatest moment in wrestling history.
We're gonna be on. We're gonna be on TBS. We're gonna be on TNT. We're gonna be on Cartoon Network.
Simulcast. We only do things at the same time here.
Okay.
We've been doing great business here, despite what they're trying to do to us. Thanks.
You got it, Tony. Thank you for making that point.
Great question. I think we have time for one more, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can. I can do a couple. I think if anybody else, this is great. I really appreciate everybody coming in.
Hi, Tony. Brian Zone, PW Torch. Tony, I wanted to ask you specifically. So, based on the current data and attendance, do you feel like right now it would be a little ambitious for AEW to look at running a U.S. stadium show in the immediate future at all?
Bravo to this man for bringing up saying he said it. He said, maybe with your attendance and maybe with your ratings, this isn't the best time to run a U.S. stadium show. But Tony,
I think that it's speculative and to talk about, but I think it's something that certainly nobody ever thought that we would sell over 81,000 tickets at Wembley stadiums, and I think
and you didn't, you didn't sell over 81,000.
Yeah, they're nowhere near 50,000, are they?
They weren't over 81,000 last year, and they're not close to 50,000 this year, and they didn't sell over 81,000.
You know what I heard about the stadium, though? That people are actually refunding their tickets. Have you heard that?
Okay, we talked about this a little bit, and it could be a couple things. It could be because I don't know about stadiums giving refunds to tickets. To me, it seems more like these are freebies that are coming back because, like, you give out 100.
I think brought it up. I'm sorry for cutting you off. That's where I heard it from.
No, you're good. You give freebies. You give 100 tickets to some office and say hand them out to your employees, and only 20 people want them, so you send them back. That happens a lot with concerts and stuff like that. So I'm figuring that's what it is. I don't think big stadium. I'm not from England. I don't live in London, so I don't know what the process is here. But I know that if I tried to take my concert tickets back to my local place and tell them that I would like a refund, they would laugh at me. So
to keep it quick on topic, from what I heard, like they buy a season pass for the stadium, Wembley Stadium, and they have all these shows they want to go to. So if AEW pops up, people have, you know what? I don't want to go to that show. I'm going to trade in that ticket for a Celine Dion or whoever they might like better. So people are bringing them back in that aspect. Still not 100% sure.
That's a possibility. And that sounds like something that I could absolutely see. And it happened last year too, if you remember. So we'll have to pay attention to that. You have to, what? Maybe you should ask AEW Ticks.
Numbers
Twitter.
went down. It was like 45,000 and it went down 35,000. And it was just like,
it went down by 1,000. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it went down 1,000 tickets, but even still, 1,000 is 1,000 is 1,000.
Yeah. Here we go.
Time after time, whether it was from the very first AEW show when we did the fastest sellout in the history of Las Vegas for pro wrestling, that's something we've never done. So I would say never count out AEW in any aspect of the pro wrestling business. We have amazed people from our very first show until right now. I think it's amazing. I think it's really amazing what AEW has done in 5 years. We're coming up on the 5-year anniversary of Wednesday Night Dynamite, and we just had, of course, a couple months ago, the 5-year anniversary from the first show, Double or Nothing. And it's been a couple years now. I've been working with Ian since I acquired ROH, and we're doing great things there too. But the leaps and bounds AEW's grown. It's really an amazing thing we've done. And, it's something to think about here with ROH too, the way that ROH is presented, because I think that I've really, really been very happy because we have a great crew here. And I think a lot of times together on Saturdays, we've seen a lot of the great stars, and just like tomorrow, a lot of the great people you've seen on the pay-per-view also appearing in AEW. I think that there's a lot of unique opportunities to integrate ROH. Frankly, the way that the company's presented right now, it's presented as a completely separate entity, and it is a completely separate entity as a business. They're two different businesses, but they have a lot of synergies. They share a lot of.
Okay, this is why I kept this in, because it does seem like it's droning, but it does go somewhere, and I think it actually is very telling about the interactions between them and WBD. But let's a lot
of operating synergies. But AEW has grown in 5 years to be, in terms of revenue, in terms of international exposure, one of the two biggest wrestling companies of all time, and on an international level have set records worldwide, the number one wrestling company.
Okay, there's a question, by the way. Is AEW one of the two biggest wrestling companies of all time?
Sure.
No.
Well, actually, no, because WCW was
Yeah.
had longer, bigger run than them. They are the number 3 biggest.
Yeah.
And that's the now think about the longevity of New Japan too.
Oh,
right?
yeah, it's true. Yeah,
I mean,
that's true. Yeah, we're not. Yeah, we're not even talking about New Japan. Let's see.
I mean,
I would love to see the I would love
AAA.
to see the numbers. Like, yeah, let's do it. Let's see what's CMLL. Let's see what AAA. Let's see what New Japan has to offer up in comparison to AEW.
Yeah.
The,
and actually, this is a good time to go here. Last Call Podcast gave a super chat earlier. How long before TNA passes AEW as the number 2 promotion?
Well, I've said this many times. If Anthem had the money and the willingness to spend it, TNA would be the number 2 promotion because TNA has been putting out a better product than AEW for the last 3.5 years.
Yeah.
It's just a far better product. It's just good luck finding it. You know, if you have it on your cable system, you're typing in 4 separate numbers to find it.
You know how I watched it when I was really into it. It's actually a good deal. If you go to YouTube and it's 99 cents a month, you get all the impacts 30 minutes after they start, commercial free on YouTube. So if you are in an area where you can't watch Impact Wrestling, or TNA now, that's a good way to do it. But I mean, in quality, I'd say TNA has passed them. I don't know though. Look at the last pay-per-view. They drew over 4,000 people to that pay-per-view. They were out drawing Dynamite and Collision and I mean, there's something there, and this deal with WWE is getting them places. When they get on CW, if they continue the TNA deal into the time where they're on CW, you could see a large increase, and it could help TNA get a deal with CW too, because CW is obviously interested in wrestling. They're even talking about giving NWA another shot on broadcast. So maybe WWE could say, hey, instead of doing that NWA stuff, why don't you check out our buddies over in TNA? I mean, TNA's playing a good game here. Honestly, though, Ant said that he thinks that they are just interested in selling to WWE, which is also possible. We don't know what Anthem's long game is here. So
I think that's what Tony's looking to do. I think that's his like eject button. I think because he strikes me as a fly-by-night guy. You know, somebody who would do some wheeling and dealing behind the scenes, and then before you know it, you wake up one day and there is no AEW because it's been sold to WWE or some network or what have you, and because the pressure's on.
Yeah. That's crossed my mind a lot.
Yeah,
I don't think his ego. He's very aloof, but there's also a lot of ego there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You go to when you go to his LinkedIn, he very proudly lists all of his non-existent positions with the Jaguars, with his football club, with AEW. You know, he's very much someone telling people, this is what I do.
Yeah. I could see it being his escape clause in 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Saying like I basically buying his way into the Hall of Fame. I could see that being his end game, but I don't think it's something he's ready to do now. I think he wants,
I think AEW is going to be one of those companies. It's going to be, what if WCW never had its NWA lineage? So like from 91 to 96, it's just going to be something that exists, that if you know it's there, you may watch it, you may not watch it. You may drop in and out of it. And then
but you're watching Hogan, you're watching Savage, you're watching Flair, you're watching Sting, Steamboat, but
and then maybe when Triple H decides that he wants to retire, you get that moment where there's some blood in the water and a bunch of the right people jump ship at the right time, and now you have your it's WCW 96 to 98 moment.
Yeah. We got all Uncultured Barbarian here with $5 is saying something that I've actually seen a lot of, and actually it's kind of my story too. I supported AEW at the start, and now I don't care. WWE gives me options to view them on streaming, and I'm not going to pay for AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people, look at it that way, especially cord cutters. you know, when you get into that, it's like, are you going to add another service to get AEW if they go to Max? Or, you know, I mean, because a lot of people are riding that ship to watch AEW now, and we know that, and we know their fans even do it because they proudly proclaim that they do. And that doesn't help AEW at all. So he actually had more to say and said, I watched AEW, AWA, WCW, UWF, and other feds until the bitter end. AEW, I'm too old for this crap. So
his Bertha moment.
and that just goes to show, like, for people who are younger, like, AEW, its presence is nothing new. This has been going on for years and years with what Uncultured said, AWA, WCW, UWF, and so many others. You have to understand, like, there's a time and place, and from the time they were brought in, AEW was brought in, to now, don't be surprised. It's going to get worse.
Yeah.
We've seen it get worse.
So we have more super chats, but a lot of them are about something that we will be talking about in a bit. So I don't want to get to those yet. Let's see what Tony has to say.
In some areas. So I think it's amazing how big AEW is, but I'm also really proud of the history here of ROH. And you know, it's really amazing that this company has been around for over 22 years now.
Yeah, 22.
Over 22 years. And
Ring
when
of
you look
Honor.
at it, so many of the greatest wrestlers in the world have come through this company, ROH. And so there really is a place in the world of wrestling for ROH, but you know, it's important.
You know, Kev, I wasn't going to stop here. I was going to let this go, but you brought up something interesting where they are WCW without the lineage. Did Tony try to buy a lineage? Is that why he bought ROH?
I would agree to that. I think so because it was widely discussed before the pandemic happened when they wanted to bring NXT on the road. The word on the street was that the WWE was going to purchase ROH for the tape library and for the infrastructure, for the touring infrastructure. Pandemic happens and ROH, goes the way that it went.
And then it became between Tony and Anthem. Anthem was into,
Yeah, then Anthem was thinking about it, and then Tony grossly overpaid for it. But when you really think about it, what was there really to buy? And what was there to really grossly overpay for?
He didn't keep the contracts.
That's it, right? He dumped a bunch of he picked and chose what he wanted to roll over, but he didn't. It was just a weird setup. But when you really break it down, yeah, it looks like he really purchased ROH just for the sheer sake of saying, "Hey, there was this thing that's been around that I liked, right? Because Tony liked ROH. There was something around that I liked, and now we have backstory.
Yeah,
or whatever. We happen to get a guy who was on this show. I agree. It looks like he tried to purchase a lineage.
So we're going to get through this, and then we are going to do Awful's game here. Marv is not here, and he doesn't have to run off to watch Star Wars, so we can go a little bit longer.
Also, with the ROH though, just to get back up on it, just to have like video packages when he had guys like CM Punk, Daniels, Adam Cole, something to showcase, so people wouldn't have to think of like, oh, that's those WWE guys,
and to prevent WWE from being able to do it. Because remember, WWE was using a lot of Ring of Honor footage for it. They had a deal, So
it's funny. What's funny is you say that too, and it's like the one thing we always scream about AEW is why don't they ever do video packages for these guys? Especially for the casual fan who's just jumping in. I'm not watching week to week. One of the greatest things about what made the WWE take off, as we were jumping into the Attitude Era was when you jumped into WrestleMania? What was the first Rock Austin WrestleMania? Which number was that?
17. My way or the highway.
I don't know. Their first match.
Oh, that was 14 in Philadelphia.
16, right? Or 15, right? 15 in Philly.
15, yeah. 14 was Austin Brett, so 15 would have been.
Gotcha.
Oh, so the 13's Austin Brett, right?
13's Austin Brett. 14 is
Austin.
Sean and Austin.
Yes. Okay. So 15.
Yeah.
When you roll into 15, every match had an epic video package.
Yeah.
So they were like, hey, you've probably not watched us in a long time. This is why you need to care for this 3-minute match.
Right.
And you walked out of it with your mind blown. And then when you rolled into the video package for the Monday after Mania, you were sold. It was a cinematic experience. And that is essential to getting people who are just kind of popping in for 5 minutes to stay. And
it's a television standard, Phil.
Yep.
Phil, sorry. It's a television standard. Here you go. Yeah, it's a television standard. What happened last week? What's going to happen this week? What will happen next week? They bookend each and every show that's good with that type of with those teases and those tricks.
And Tony now uses it to mock people. I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter, but he does the thing where he says, "Oh, and we have a guy coming in from CML. We have a great video package this week, guys," because everyone was giving him so much crap about it. So,
see, that's passive aggressive.
Oh, it is. It is.
Yeah.
And also look at where AEW stands in the world right now of pro wrestling, and it's at really at a top place that really only a few promotions in the history of the world have ever reached, and we're very blessed to be in that place right now. So it's interesting because I do think even though the promotions are separate, there is something to be said, frankly, between the synergies between them, because ROH has been providing something very valuable for AEW in terms of we've had a lot of the young wrestlers come here, and when we had AEW Dark go away, there has been not necessarily a place off television, off TNT and TBS for us to develop great wrestlers. I think that here.
So is this, he's admitting now that ROH is their NXT, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you know, it's I don't know. There's a lot to unpack.
We're all gobsmacked by it.
yeah, there's a lot to unpack, and I don't want to go on a 45-minute rant.
It's funny to me that they've spent so long denying that ROH was their NXT, and now Tony just came out and said that ROH was their NXT.
Right now, what we've been able to do with ROH, it's something that, you know, especially without Dark and Elevation, that we were lacking without, I would say, without those shows. And at the same time, it's also doing something those shows never did. You know, there were never championships in these kind of stakes or payoffs. There was never a Dark pay-per-view or an Elevation pay-per-view like the ones we've done in ROH. These are some of the best pay-per-view shows.
Because your Elevation pay-per-views were the AEW pay-per-views, but
I've ever been associated with, and I think that ROH in 22 years has ever done. Absolutely. So it's really interesting what the promotion has grown into, but I'm really proud of it, and I think ROH holds an important place. But also, I recognize that AEW is at the very top of pro wrestling, and I think that the ROH brand could, frankly, benefit from even more association. I don't think it's out of the question to say, and I don't think it's sacrilegious to say, I think it would only help grow the ROH brand if I were to license it. If it was AEW ROH, I don't think that's a crazy thing.
There it is. Drop the bomb. We're renaming ROH to AEW ROH because WBD says that if you want ROH on television, you have to have AEW attached to it. That's it, right?
Well, absolutely. And listen, let's be honest. That's what should have happened to begin with.
Yeah.
The other than probably for tax purposes, they pulled a Fugazi and kept them separate. If ROH was ever going to come back, one, no one was ever going to accept any real like diehard ROH fan is not going to sit here and pretend that Tony's version of ROH is actual ROH.
Right.
But if you do AEW presents ROH or AEW's Ring of Honor,
it sounds worse.
It sounds worse because what it is, but it gives them the leeway to change. Like, listen, it doesn't have to be the nightmare that was WWE ECW, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it can invoke the goodwill that won into the first episode before we watched the zombie come out.
Yeah.
You know, we all had high hopes for what that first episode was going to be. So all you have to do is just do better than that, and everybody's okay. You know.
By the way, I want to thank everybody for sticking with us. We still have over 150 people in the chat right now.
Nice.
Go ahead and hit that like button. We're getting to the end of NXT, so I'm sure we're going to get more people in. Let's plow through this so we can get to the other stuff we have to talk about. Because if you look at our super chats, there is a specific topic that a lot of people want to address. So let's get through this.
Do you think you can never count AEW out? We're building right now from the ground up. This year, we've announced all the pay-per-view shows. Where we're going to be in a year, 2 years from now, I would say never count out AEW. Anything's possible with this company. And it's a great question, but I definitely think I would never rule us out.
Any other questions for Tony?
Oh, so that one I forgot. That was about doing a show in AT&T Stadium. What do you think? We'll get to that because that's what a lot of the chats are about here. So we'll get to that here in a minute. But
Hey, Drew.
Hendry Badella, Final Bell Media. Tony, congratulations on tonight's show. Is there a possibility with your media rights coming up that you would explore Ring of Honor on weekly television, TBS and TNT?
Well, there are a number of great homes in the Warner Media family. So TBS and TNT are probably
this goes to what Awful was talking about, and that's why I left it, and you'll hear it in a second.
the two greatest channels ever to show pro wrestling. And it's, like I was saying before, 50 years of history, over 50 years of history on TBS, going back to the 1970s, and roughly 30 years, about 29 years of history on TNT, dating back to the mid-90s. So TBS and TNT are two of the great channels in the Warner Brothers Discovery family, but there are a lot of great channels in the Warner Brothers Discovery family. We're having great conversations with them now. I think it's not crazy at all to think that Ring of Honor could be televised in the Warner Brothers Discovery family. Would Ring of Honor, frankly, have a lot more value as AEW Ring of Honor? Yeah, probably would. And I think I've come to that realization as far as the presentation. And that might mean, frankly, a more cohesive absorption of the promotion into the fabric of what we're already doing, but not in a way that would affect things. I think in a lot of ways, people miss Dark and Elevation. And like I said, I think in some ways, some of those things in terms of giving us a bullpen from Dynamite now.
I just love looking at Kev during that. People really miss Dark and Elevation, by the way.
You know who misses Dark than Elevation?
Mark Henry.
Yes, yeah. Well, is it Mark Henry? People who know how to wrestle, watching how bad the wrestling was on Dark and Elevation.
Yeah,
that's who misses it.
I'll translate here a little bit too. This is Tony Khan getting people ready for the fact that their shows are probably going to move to True TV.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the ROH's identity is going to change very soon, and it's probably going to be on True TV. Well, one of the three shows is going to be on True TV.
Yep. And they're not getting another show.
So they're going to steal viewers from Impractical Jokers and still get 1 million, right?
No, because they moved Impractical Jokers to TNT.
Yeah, Impractical Jokers are on TNT now.
Wow. Oh, they got called up to the main roster.
The Four Horsemen.
Yeah. 3. Unfortunately, it's 3 now.
Yeah.
All right.
Rampage and Collision, which, Collision didn't really exist. There's never been a period where we've done Dark and Elevation with Collision, because part of the thing when we started Collision was part of the deal was Dark and Elevation would go away. And I do think Ring of Honor then, some of that void, not only did that get filled, but there's something that Ring of Honor has, the intrinsic magic, the history of being a promotion that many of the greatest wrestlers in the world, a lot of them in AEW and or ROH right now, but even wrestlers in other promotions outside of AEW and ROH have competed in ROH. It's got this fantastic, amazing legacy and history. But now there's a connectivity. And frankly, in the past 2 years, you've watched it kind of become a part of what we do here. So I do think that's possible. It's something that has been talked about and discussed. I'm very open to it, and I think it would have a place on TV, and I think we could do great things with it. Already, a lot of the great ROH wrestlers and champions are featured in the shows, and you've seen some of these great stars featured, whether it's on Collision or Dynamite or Rampage. But I definitely think that's something that I would be interested in, and it's something I know there is interest in. We're having great talks with, like I said, with Warner Brothers Discovery, but I think that's definitely
okay. That's it. We don't.
Please, thank you. I feel like what Kev felt like last week with Mercedes Moné.
So speaking of Mercedes Moné, the question, one of the questions that cut out was for Red Velvet, where she was asked if since her return with the new people involved, who has come in and really helped her get her over that hump of coming back and returning. And they specifically said, now that Mercedes Moné is there, now that Jennifer Pepperman is there, and she went on to list every single person that worked in the company except for Mercedes Moné and Jennifer Pepperman.
Wow.
And Mercedes, does anybody think that it's interesting that Sammy Guevara is in Ring of Honor now?
Nope. Oh, Sammy's officially in ROH.
He debuted in ROH. So that means, as producer Neckbeards pointed out, that means that CM Punk, quote unquote, had Colt Cabana demoted to ROH and was evil. Mercedes Moné has Sammy Guevara demoted to ROH, and people say it didn't happen. So is Mercedes okay? We're coming in on All In and All Out season, the All Incident, the Brawl Out. We're coming in on that. So is Mercedes going to beat someone up backstage? Is that going to happen?
She'll cry backstage. Maybe throw a fit. I'd like to see that CCTV footage.
San Diego Comic-Con happened and Tony was unhinged and yelled that even though Mercedes said no, she wasn't going to have the match the night before, they made it the night after. Mercedes was dressed up like Poison Ivy. She did a TikTok dance with a bear hat on at some point. Camilla.
It wasn't a bear hat. It wasn't a bear hat. It was a monkey suit.
Oh, a monkey suit. Okay.
Yes.
That's
for no goddamn good reason, but that's neither here nor there.
Did Counselor have a stroke?
Oh man, I didn't check him out yet. Somebody check the Counselor.
So they had and is it Camille or Camille? I can't. Camille. She was dressed up like Bane. By the way, I'm sure that's not going to be her official look in AEW.
Then why do it?
Because it's Comic-Con and Mercedes loves cosplay. So
she was being her weeb self.
Yeah.
Roll with it.
Out of all things to reference in your tweet, you're gonna pick Batman and Robin.
I know.
That's gonna be the thing that you go. But I searched for Mercedes stuff, and it's all just repeating the same issues that we have with her over and over again. So I'm not gonna. And you know what? The chat obviously wants to talk about one topic right now. John JID 999 with AEW being so incompetent, I really want WWE Wembley for $199.
They're not going for the O2 Arena.
How about this? Jackie Boy with 5 pounds, which means that he is from the UK. The moment WWE moves into Wembley, eventually Tony's little record that he holds so dear will vanish and go to the man with 3 H's. So here's a question real quick about that. They have to split WrestleMania into 2 nights. Do you think they can actually break the record twice?
Wow. You know,
yes.
Well, yeah.
I got a question. Is Steve Regal in one of the matches for the World Championship? Because that would be a reason.
They have enough Brits. They don't need to pull Regal out of the nursing home to get him. I love Regal, but he's in bad shape. So,
but you know, Regal will be there for the NXT show.
Absolutely, he will. And then we have our good friend Boris. All In this year can only hold 60K. #facts. Is it even set up for 60K at this point? Because last I saw it was like 50. They only had like 50 for sale, right?
Yeah, I saw 51,000.
Yeah. I don't know why they could only hold 60K. I mean, I'm sure if they could sell more tickets, but I'm sure that is what people want them to believe, that they can only hold 60K. So for those unaware, if you're just coming into the podcast and don't really keep up with the wrestling news, Nick Khan and Triple H had a meeting with the mayor of London last week, and it was very public that it was about bringing WrestleMania to London, assuming there's only really one place that you can hold it there, which would be Wembley Stadium. There's been a lot of discourse on whether this was WWE trying to take their territory. Thunder Rosa, which, by the way, I will say Thunder Rosa did get taken out of context. She wasn't saying that that's what they were trying to do. She was saying that WWE is a global entity and they can go wherever they want. And look how big at wrestling is right now. They're even trying to move in on AEW's turf. She was joking, but the media likes to spin it to be that WWE is moving in on AEW's turf, despite the fact that WWE has regularly run the UK for 30 years now, 35 years now. So WWE is probably going to run Wembley, right?
Yep.
I mean,
they didn't have, who was it, The Rock or Cena who asked for it?
Cena.
That didn't happen by accident. This has been going on for a little bit. They had the feelers out. You had Cena go out to test the crowd's reaction, and and Bob's your uncle. And
he'll be a part of it. That's the other thing. Like, that's John Cena, The Rock. They're going to be a part of this grand event.
What I find, I don't know, troubling. WWE is not doing this. It's not troubling. It's incorrect is the biggest thing. WWE is not running Wembley because AEW did. Wembley is going after WWE because they saw that wrestling can draw Wembley. This was London testing Wembley for wrestling. This wasn't WWE trying to.
So AEW was the canary in the coal mine.
That's what I think. I mean, given I'm not saying London went out to AEW and said, hey, can you please run Wembley so we can test this out? I'm saying Tony Khan showed the money out to buy Wembley or to rent Wembley.
Yeah.
They showed that, hey, we can actually draw an audience. And then the mayor says, you know what? If they can draw that many people, how many people can WWE bring in?
Yeah.
And that's why they're willing to shell out the money, because WWE is not going to be paying to run Wembley Stadium.
Well, the WWE is fueling towns, states, actually an entire state's economy with WrestleMania and SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So London is in desperate need, not to get political, but like London's in desperate need. The way we think about London here is not the reality of what London is right now.
That's good to know.
So like they're looking for anything that can give them a massive shot in the arm, and the WWE is a major powerhouse. Let's be honest, if anything, AEW went to Wembley because WWE went to Wembley. We all know it. He wanted his SummerSlam moment. He wanted his Bulldog Brett moment. And he tried to go get it, and he had excellent timing. You rolled into London. You rolled into London, one of the cities that had the most ridiculous COVID restrictions. 2 years after people were not allowed to so much as fart in public, without facing execution. So they were just desperate for anything. And we talked about if AEW couldn't put 80,000 people in that arena, then they had no business being open, because they don't. Europe doesn't get. We're spoiled here in the States. We have something to do. We have 9 things to do in every major city. 9 ways to Sunday, 7 days a week. So you get jaded by the noise between all this professional sports teams, between all the entertainers, between the from stadium fillers to cheesy little nightclubs. There's something to do. They don't have that in Europe. So when something big comes to town, it's gonna pull. And
right.
It's
great. WrestleMania is going to bring the entire world to London.
Yeah.
And after WrestleMania, half of the world's going to go home.
What year is this scheduled for, by any chance?
Because England will take anybody and they will keep anybody.
I was assuming it had to be 45 or 46, right? Because I think they're booked out to 45.
Right.
Because I'm thinking about like what would the main events be, but then come by then, like 3-4 years from now, you'll probably have guys like MJF available, Kenny Omega to stack up that double night, So Roman Reigns versus Cena and The Rock will probably happen sooner than later.
Yeah, well, I think they're looking at, you got to figure in 4 years. The beautiful part about whenever you have the zero, whenever you have a Mania that has a 0 attached to it, it's like the things are about to change, and then when you get to the next one, when you get to the 41, 42, by the time you get to 43, everything's completely different,
right,
from what you were looking at the previous set of numbers. So by the time you get to 45, we're looking at a completely and totally different place. Right. At that point, it's probably, who's still going to be around. Rollins may be wrapping up. Cody should still be around. Maybe Punk has turned himself into an attraction, only doing a couple big matches here or there. But Cena's going to be long gone. Rock's going to be long gone. There's no way Rock's going to be doing this in his 60s. I don't care how good his doctors are.
Right.
But they have a bench, and they're creating new stars, and every 6 months or so, somebody comes up that can take, like, people talk about how they're misusing guys like Carmelo Hayes, but that's That's because you don't want to run them into the ground now, right?
Yeah,
you don't want to get all the worth out of them this early. This will stretch out for years. And guys like Braun Breaker, guys like Dragunov, those guys are going to be Jacob Fatu, who is 32 years old. I thought he was much older than that.
Wow, yeah, same.
These guys are already there. There's no work you have to put into them. Braun Breaker tomorrow could be a main eventer if they really wanted him to be. By Royal Rumble this next year, he's going to be undeniable the way people are going to be behind him, and people are going to be complaining on Twitter about how they're not pushing him hard enough. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's because these guys they have coming up are so good and so well packaged that they're set for a decade right now on top talent. That they don't have to do anything with. They don't have to change anything about them. They're just ready to go. So
we could be talking about Braun Breaker versus Jacob Fatu.
Yeah. Braun Breaker. There are at least 5 WrestleMania main events within those 4 people that we just mentioned. You have Braun Breaker, Jacob Fatu, Dragunov, and I didn't even say Gunther, but Gunther, he's a little bit older. But I mean, he'll probably still be going for a while. Between those 4 right there, you have WrestleMania main events for years that are
Gunther's going to go on that Terry Funk run because he just is a grounded wrestler.
Has he ever been injured? Has he ever been injured?
Probably. I don't know.
I think he had an injury when he dropped the UK title because he was gone for a little bit before he went to NXT proper.
He's a very safe worker. Very you know, this stuff looks hard, but he doesn't.
He's the new generation Miz.
Yeah, kind of.
As far as playing it safe, gentlemen. I'm not talking about like the whole kit and caboodle, but as far as like being a safe worker, a reliable hand, and he's going to be there for the next 15 years.
And that's not even mentioning guys like Theory and Waller, who say what you will about. I know people don't like Grayson Waller. Jim Cornette hates Grayson Waller.
He's old, isn't he?
Grayson Waller. I don't think he's that old. Grayson Waller. I thought he was like
Grayson Waller's young.
Yeah. But I mean, those guys are, you know, Theory is about to go on a space run, which will be interesting to see what happens there. But those are guys, there's so many guys that you can, and that doesn't even go into like Trick Williams, who I don't think is ready, but he's obviously going to be a star someday. Wes Lee, who is coming up in the developmental system. You have all the women. Tiffy, who is already a gigantic. They can't stop her. They tried to stop her and they can't because people love her so much. It's unbelievable how big of a bench they have. And I think out of all the people I mentioned, I think maybe 2, 3 were wrestlers before. Okay. The 4 that I mentioned initially were wrestlers before they got into it. But when you get into guys like when you get to Tiffy and Trick, those are WWE talents, you know, people they're bringing up from the grooming from the ground up. And that's what WWE's future is collegiate athletes who are easy to coach and who you can mold to be what you want to be. So are you ready? Awful.
I certainly am.
Are we ready, people? Do we have everything set?
Swerve, did you log in?
No, not yet. I'll log in right now. I was scared of the Wi-Fi messing up on me.
Oh no, you're good.
I just jumped. We got one more super chat if you want to hit that before.
Oh, we do. Okay, let me go to that. That's new. One more super. Oh yeah, look at that rolling down here. One more super chat. It is from Uncultured. By the way, not one more super chat for the rest of the show. I'm sure you will continue to support this show and Marv when he's out of town. But one more super chat from now. Uncultured Barbarian with another $5. What a fantastic supporter. I've been watching women's wrestling since the late 70s, early 80s, and the potential of women that are coming into WWE piques my interest. I had an interesting discussion in Discord about the women coming up right now. Are they too indie?
What?
The way they work?
Yes and no. But I could. Here's why it's a good thing. The they're fighting for attention. They're fighting to get noticed. The women are hyper capable. There are still some things that happen that I see a lot of the female talent do where they're just not physically strong enough. I think we talked about it before. Like usually, there's some topes and planches where they'll go like they just don't have the physical strength, or like they'll kind of try to do some complicated high spot. I was like, yeah, the guys can do it because it's easier because guys are just naturally stronger. Sorry if that upset someone in the chat. Men are just naturally stronger, but the girls are fired up, man, and they want attention. And I think them trying to adopt this WWE indie style is just their way of doing what they have to do to get noticed by the fans, because everybody knows they can work now, right? If you've been, unless you've been under a rock for the last 10 years, the WWE Women's Division has been the premier division.
Absolutely.
And that's not to take away from the knockouts, because if it wasn't for the knockouts, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
The knockouts division was my favorite women's division between like 2000, the time they started until Hogan came in. When you had Gail Kim, you had Mickie James, you had Awesome Kong, you had ODB. And every match was just as good as any men's match you'd have on the card. So.
Absolutely. That Gail Kim Kong main event was one of my favorite main events I've ever seen. On a pay-per-view. But the women's division in the WWE is where it's at, at the NXT level and at the main roster level. So the only thing that's missing is I just am a firm believer that these women need their own show. They need their own show. You need to see them having feuds that aren't centered around a belt, but are just typical old school wrestling, interpersonal issues that get hashed out. They get hashed out in the middle of a ring, in order to get them to the next level. So it's they're taking the more indie style, the more risky style, probably to kind of drive that home. They want people talking about them. They want people talking about them, and this is kind of the best way to do it.
I do love the new faction on Raw, by the way. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark and Sony. I could watch them beat up those little girls all day. It is fantastic. But yeah, that's I think that's where the women's division is going. Okay, Awful. I need you to share your screen, bud.
You got it. Give me 1 second.
This is a game put together by the grifter extraordinaire, Awful Wrestling.
Yes, indeed. How about now?
There we go. Yes, we will add. And there it is. We have Awful Jeopardy. You can see all of us there. I am Alyssa. Who are you guys?
Oh, God. What do I have? I think I'm the shark.
Okay, Kev's the shark. Swerve. You're the onion, I take it.
You are the onion.
You're also muted. Swerve, you are muted.
There sorry about that. I'm the onion because it sort of looks like me.
I am my spirit animal, Alyssa.
Well,
so
gentlemen, let's get started. Let's do the topics here. Topic number one is Tony. The other topic is 80s territories, world champions, gaijin wrestlers, tag team first names, and kayfabe.
And we will be taking breaks occasionally in case there are any super chats. Just to let you guys know, if you want to super chat and make fun of us because of how dumb we are, you're more than welcome to. And please hit that like; it does help us a lot. So here we go, boys.
Indeed.
I may have to bail soon because it's my son is going to wake up soon.
Okay,
you got it.
Let's get through it.
All right. Well, AEW disciplinary. You can start off first. What would you like to see?
Oh, okay. Let's start with some Tony for 100.
Okay. This Tony once remarked that there was only room for one in the wrestling business.
Okay, everybody, turn down your phones.
I don't know who answered first. Oh, okay. Onion. What have you got?
Wrestling out of AEW. I just wanted to see if the button works.
Well, you're wrong. So you got that wrong. Anybody else? All right. This Tony once remarked that there was only room for one of these in the wrestling business.
This is the easy one too. We're doing.
All right. Well, that how do I do this?
Nyla Rose?
No. The answer is Khan. There was only room for one Khan.
Oh, there was only one. Okay, the wording. Okay, now I get it. Now I
yes,
understand
Tony. Those will be the. All right. This go again.
Let's do Tony for 200. Let's keep going.
All right. This Tony was a former tag team champion and is also a well-known podophile.
Tony was a.
This Tony was a former tag team champion and also a well-known podophile.
Tony Santana.
Wait a second, you got to buzz in. Nobody's buzzed in. All right.
I did. Oh.
What have you got?
Tony Atlas.
There it is.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Let's go.
All right. Well, go ahead and pick him, Onion.
I am going to go for tag teams' first names for 500. We're going big.
All right. These are tag teams where I will give you the names of their first names, and you tell me the tag team for 100 points.
No, 500. He said 500.
Oh, 500.
We're going big.
Judy and Leilani.
Oh. I know who they are.
Well, buzz in, see what you got.
The one with the pretty eyes, right? She has pretty eyes. They all do usually.
What have you got, Alyssa?
Oh man, I know who these names are for a tag team though. The Glamour Girl. Oh, Glamour Girls.
Sorry, pal. you're too late.
I'm too late. Oh, come on.
The Glamour Girls.
Oh.
I didn't buzz in. I thought I buzzed in.
Nope. He buzzed in before you, so your buzz didn't count. All right. Well, I think Shark was
no, it's still on Onion. It's still on.
Oh,
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go with 8 world champions for 200.
200. After leaving the WWF in 1990, he became 3-time WCW champion, beating Ric Flair, Hirohashi, and Sting for the world title.
Got it.
Yes, Melissa.
Who is Rick Rude?
Who is Rick Rude? Yes, you did get it. Oh,
keep it going. Let's see.
what was that answer? How much was that?
$200.
200. Okay. Let me take out. Now I'm starting to get the hang of this as well. All right, go ahead.
Okay, let's go back. Let's do it again. World champions for 100.
This wrestler submitted Bob Backlund in 1983, but lost to a real American hero. Yes.
Who is Iron Sheik?
There it is.
Sheiky baby.
All right.
World champ. I like this. World champion is 300.
Stupid buzzer.
Harley Race managed both of these men to WCW World Championships in 1991 and 1992. This.
Who is Vader and Sid?
No.
Oh!
Shark?
I'm just trying to think of champions from 91 to 92.
Vader and...
Sorry.
Vader?
Luger.
Oh, that's right. He did manage Luger. He did manage Luger.
I forgot about that completely.
All right. Well, Onion's in the lead with $100.
Hey, I got 2.
Yeah, but you went down from
oh, we go into negative. That's right.
Right. Yeah. So who answered that?
It's still
okay.
on
It's still
me.
on the gotcha.
I will go to kayfabe for 100.
This four letter word is the translation to its loose pig Latin term kayfabe. Wrestlers hate to be called it. Onion.
Mark? I always eat that Mark bacon.
This four-letter word is the translation to its loose pig Latin term kayfabe, and wrestlers hate to be called it.
I don't know.
All right, well, the answer is fake.
Fake. See, I always heard from Roddy Piper that kayfabe came from Kafabian. So,
oh gosh, boy, he screwed you up. All right, Onion, go ahead.
I'm gonna go with world champions for 500.
All right. When he defeated Tom Jenkins in 1902, he became wrestling's first world champion.
Ooh.
Isn't that hard?
I think you can.
Yeah, I'm going. Nobody's got it.
Nope.
George Hackenschmidt.
Oh, he was the
Who
first,
is-
really?
Yes. Who was?
I didn't think he
George
was that old.
Hackenschmidt?
I didn't think he was that old.
All right, Onion, go again.
Gauging wrestlers for 100.
Gaijin wrestlers for
Oh, yeah.
100. This boxing champion became a Gaijin opponent to Antonio Inoki in an exhibition match in 1976, later called About in Honor. Alyssa.
Who is Muhammad Ali?
Yes, you have it. There you go. Nice. All right, go on ahead. This
Let's go 80 territories for 100.
80s territories. Bobby Heenan suggested Hulk Hogan talk to Vince McMahon about leaving this long-time promotion to make more money. This.
AWA. What is the AWA?
You have it. Beautiful. Go on. Continue.
Let's go Tony 300.
He got his big break in 1985, getting hired by Jim Crockett, leaving baseball to work in wrestling.
Ooh. Kev left. I don't know. You can cut. Do you have any idea?
Tony Schiavone.
Oh, you meant as an announcer, you jerk. I could have said that.
Hey, listen. All right, well, go ahead. This
It's still me. Tag team first names for 100.
Rick and Scott.
Oh. Who are the Steiners?
Have it. Continue.
Tag team first name for 2.
Brian and Jim.
Who are the Killer Bees?
Who are the Killer Bees? You are correct, and you can continue on.
Let's go kayfabe for 2.
When wrestlers go off script or get personal, fans often say that they broke this. 4 of them, to be exact.
Ooh.
All right, the answer is Fourth Wall.
Oh, fourth wall. Okay, see, 'cause I was
Yeah.
going to say kayfabe, but obviously it couldn't be kayfabe because kayfabe is the topic. So
I was spelling script in my head. I was like, SCR. That's 5 letters.
All right, this you can continue.
Let's go back to 80s territories for 2.
Gary Hart booked this territory in the mid-'80s, along with Jerry Jarrett and Bruiser Brody. Go ahead, Swerve.
GWF?
Say again?
GWF?
No, it was WCCW.
Oh,
so sorry, sir. I don't know why they corrected that. There you go. You're at 0 again. My bad. Yeah, I'm new with this as well. But go on ahead, this.
80s territories for 3.
This promotion was founded in 1989 after a merger between Continental Wrestling Association and World Class Championship Wrestling. All right, everybody's got it. Oh, hold on. Go ahead, this.
Here's the thing. I know that it's one of them that there's multiple promotions.
That is
are
not an
named.
answer. So just give me
I'm kicking you through. Kev's gone. We don't have to worry about him anymore. Global. Okay.
How about you, Swerve? Want to take a shot at it?
What is ECW?
No, sorry, gentlemen.
I was
The
gonna say
answer
no.
is the USWA.
Did it? I thought it was USWA before.
Nope.
And then it became.
Trust me, I did
after.
my super research on this one.
Okay, yeah, because Nicole in the chat said CFW. That's what. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, go ahead. So.
All right, go
I
ahead.
believe you. Let's go tag team first names for 300.
Ron and Butch.
Oh.
This
is Doom.
Who is Doom?
Who is
Gotcha.
Doom?
There you go. All right, continue.
Let's keep it. Let's finish out the category. 400.
James and Bobby.
Ooh.
It's James and Bobby, though.
We're gonna skip that one. Beer money.
Oh, come on! That's my favorite tag team.
Well, you didn't know it.
Tag team. I got so hung up on Bobby Eaton that I didn't think
Dang,
about.
beautiful Bobby.
I got so hung up on Bobby Eaton. Now here's one thing. Kev's gonna come in with the last 2 minutes and win. Let's go 80s territories for 4.
It's the oldest wrestling promotion, founded in 1933, but underwent a change when Antonio Pena took over in 1985.
Boricua Pro.
Did Kev, I thought
All right,
someone buzzed in.
Nope, nobody buzzed in.
Trying to buzz.
You're trying to
Kev's
buzz?
buzzing.
Okay. What have you got, buddy? Are you Onion?
Did I do it?
No, what are the Cologne Wrestling Federations?
No. How about you, Shark?
Oh, CMLL.
There you have it.
Damn.
All right. You can choose, Kev.
Oh, let's see. What are we doing? Let's go some gaijins. Look some gaijins out of the way.
Right.
Gaijin for 200.
All right. Perhaps Japan's largest gaijin, Vince McMahon Sr. offered this wrestler to be showcased in New Japan in the 1970s. This.
Who is Andre the Giant?
There you have it. You can continue.
Gaijin for 3.
This amateur wrestler turned pro started his career in UWFI and teamed with Steve Williams in Japan wearing a University of Nebraska singlet. Kev.
Oh, who's Dr. Death?
This.
Who is Scott Norton?
Oh, who teamed? I read it wrong. Damn it. It's Terry
Everybody
Gordy.
ready?
Oh, it's Terry Gordy. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Onion, you got one. You
Yeah.
got one.
No. Gary
Oh,
Albright.
Gary Albright.
Very all right.
Really?
Yes. The University of Nebraska singlet gave everything away.
I read that all wrong.
Would you read it from the bottom up?
I did, actually.
It's still me. I'll take the same.
Yes.
I'll take the same for 4.
Japanese promoter Antonio Inoki called this gaijin the greatest of all time, being the first NWA champion to defend the title in Japan.
Dare I
Go
say
ahead.
who is Ric Flair?
Mm.
I represent the dumb fans in the comments.
Yeah.
I got you. Let's go.
All right. All right. Nobody's got it. The answer is Luthez. Luthez.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
Yes.
interesting
Go
to
ahead.
know.
This.
World champions for 4.
In 2019, she became the first and youngest AEW women's champion at just 22 years old.
What the hell was that?
Oh my God, what's her name?
Giant
That's a
Baba.
Stupid.
Go ahead, Swerve.
Just give me the who is Rio?
There you have it. All right, go ahead. Choose your category.
Tony for 400.
He returned to the ring with his former tag team partner Rick Martel in 2007 at Night of Champions, but had long been a road agent for WWF for years.
Oh, what's his name? It's Tony. Oh, it's the goofy looking guy.
Right from Strike Force.
No, that's Tito. Tony isn't Tito. Tony.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. The answer is Tony Guevara.
It's I always knew him because he was a silly looking guy.
What Night of Champions? I don't remember. I guess I don't remember Night of Champions 07 at all. Tony Garea was featured at Night of Champions.
And Rick Martel? What? Did he come out with the spray too?
Partner with Rick. Do I remember it? No, but you know, the wrestling
Kayfabe for three. Kayfabe for three.
Gordon Soley called this colorful mask whenever wrestlers got busted open and bloodied. This.
Crimson.
God damn it.
Crimson what?
Crimson mask. Yes, there you have it. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, Neckbeards, by the way, would be beating all of us, I'm sure. I just want to put that out. 80s territories for 5.
Although founded in the U.S. in 1988, this promotion's name was used by Jim Barnett's Australian wrestling promotion from 1964 to 1978. This.
What is global? Oh.
Anybody else?
It was between one or the other.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you the answer. What is WCW?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Really?
There was a promotion in Australia called WCW World Championship Wrestling by the very own Jim Barnett. Okay. Go ahead. This.
Gaijin wrestlers for 500.
All right. This legendary Japanese pro wrestler teamed with legendary Gaijin tag team Hawk and Animal and was named Power Warrior.
Who was with the NWO too, wasn't he? That guy.
No.
He wasn't?
No.
I'm trying to throw you guys around.
I'm gonna go with Dusty.
What, Kev?
I said I'm gonna go with
Go
Dusty.
ahead. You're gonna go with Dusty? You're wrong.
No, because he was okay. So he wasn't a Gaijin, right?
Well, yes, he was not a Gaijin.
Okay,
but he was a legendary Japanese pro wrestler. You're too late. The answer is Kensuke Sasaki.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, I
All
read
right,
that
go ahead.
wrong.
Fair. He's not a Gaijin.
No, he isn't.
Kayfabe for 4.
Bill Watts notoriously fined these types of wrestlers if they were seen in public with heels. This.
Faces.
Baby faces or faces. Wow, you're in the lead now. There's 2 questions left, guys.
I'm in the lead with 0.
I promise you I'll make them easier next time. But go ahead, let's round this out.
Whatever. Tony for 5.
He co-hosts one of the longest wrestling podcasts with Kevin Castle, and his Godfather nickname is in their show title. Yes, Swerve.
Who is the Don Tony?
There you have it, Don Tony. You can win this with this question. Get here it is, the last question. Kayfabe was the fictional director in this WWF's inaugural event in 1987. This.
What is the Survivor Series? Oh, come on.
Anybody want to take a stab at it?
There's only one other event.
What do you think, Swerve?
King of the Ring?
How about you, Kev?
87?
All right,
trying
well,
to think of the I'll go maybe.
Well, here's the answer.
Event, right?
The Slammy Award. So I guess who won this game? Who won this game? It looks like this barely won. And so there it is, Awful Jeopardy, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it.
I won, and I have to pay you $500.
Yeah, right. But there you have it.
Amazing.
I love it. I think it's definitely something that we need to keep doing.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll work out the kinks. But
yeah, this was a
hope
good
you guys
dry
liked
run
it.
without Marv here. Kev, are you good? Do we still have you for a little bit?
Yeah, I'm good for. I probably got another 15 minutes left.
Okay, we can do this now. So there is one more thing that I want to get through before we get to the video at the end, and that is the SummerSlam card. Do we want to go through and this is the biggest card in terms of amount of matches. This is the most that WWE has announced for a card in a long time. Because I believe there are 6. And WWE has kind of gotten into doing 5. So our first match that we will go over is CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins as the special guest referee. A lot of people are getting on Seth Rollins' case about making this seem unserious. And by the way, hit that like button still. It's still important. And if you do want to add to this or give your predictions, if you do it in a super chat, we will definitely read it. You can also chat it. We might catch it. It's a little harder on the live chat. But anyway, so we have CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. This is clearly the most anticipated match on the show. They've done a fantastic job building this feud. Even going as far as Drew McIntyre posing with Jack Perry. And having the genius move of pulling it down immediately so that everyone talks about it for the next week, which would have happened had Jimmy Corderas not broke the internet. So what do we got here? Who do you think is going to win? And do you think Seth is going to be a factor in the match? I will go to Kev. What do you think?
I'm going to say let's go back and watch Taker, Sean, and Brett. That SummerSlam match, and there goes your ending right there. I'm gonna say Drew clobbers Seth with the chair, and Punk rolls up Drew.
All right.
I think they'll go to that. I'm sorry. I just
ahead.
wanted to ask, do you think Triple H will really do that, or will he try to remix it in some other form or fashion?
Oh yeah, I'm sure it won't be that direct, but we are witnessing. I think we're just witnessing the modern audience's chance to relive Brett versus Sean without the Sunny Days Are Here incident, where Drew rips out all of Punk's hair. So I'm not sure who's Brett or who's Sean, but
that is kind of interesting.
I think Drew is Sean and Punk. I'm sorry, Drew is Brett and Punk is Sean. Actually,
yeah,
that is kind of interesting that they were able to create a Brett and Sean feud that they can control fully somehow. Swerve, who you got? And do you think Seth is going to play a factor?
I'm not quite sure how he will play a factor, but I believe that Drew McIntyre will get get in his way. Like CM Punk said in the promo, your anger always gets in your way and it costs you matches. Royal Rumble, Mania, Money in the Bank. Does he snap finally? Because now he gets to hit him and he gets disqualified, kind of way to bring him on to the next pay-per-view. So I think CM Punk wins by disqualification, as cringy as that might sound.
Oh, okay. Awful. What do you got?
I think you've got to give Drew the win here. Because Punk can bounce back. He can bounce back from a loss. He can talk his way out of the, out of the jobbing, So I see Drew going over on this one. I hate the fact that Seth Rollins is involved in this. Instead of him being the referee on Monday Night Raw, him showing up on Monday Night Raw in the middle of Punk and Drew was just it was just so stupid. I wish they would have had like a convoy of jobber security guards instead of just one man.
Yeah, it killed that segment, man, because
it certainly did.
You open up the show with this hot feud and you told everybody there will be no physicality. I think that's why that entire segment fell flat. Because there's nothing to there was no meat.
Right.
Yeah. I think personally, if I'm going with my gut, if I'm going with what I think I should do, it needs to be Drew. Because Punk needs to take the L so you can continue the feud, because if Punk wins, there's nothing left to do. Punk has taken down the big guy. There's nowhere to go with it. Drew wins, and then Punk has an excuse. He's a smaller guy. He just came back from injury. He can build that up to a rematch. Throwing Seth in there is interesting because I think that Seth and Punk have a feud separate of Drew and doesn't need Drew involved, and Drew and Punk doesn't need Seth involved. But now that they put Seth in there, I almost think they're going to do a screwy finish so they can get us to a 3-way between all of them. So I'm going to go with nothing. I'm going to go with Seth throwing it out, screwing them both over, doing something like that. And it'll lead to, I think eventually what this is leading to is a 3-way Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. Swerve, you look like you got something to say.
The mark in me says this. He likes the Macho Man. CM Punk wears Macho Man's trunks. And Drew McIntyre sort of took a jab at AJ Lee. Does AJ Lee give him a low blow, give her husband the win, and they have that Miss Elizabeth Macho Man hug in the middle of the ring?
I think AJ's coming
WrestleMania.
I think AJ's coming in at some point. I think she is. I think they're talking about her too much for them not to pay it off at some point. Even Punk in the scrums is being like, I can't speak for AJ. So I think there's something there. I don't think it's good. I don't think she's going to be like a full-time thing. I think she's going to come in for a one-time thing, do something, and then bail. I don't think it's going to happen here, though. I think this is the point where you make it a 3-way feud and you move on to. Personally, what I would do is I would have it be. I would have, like I said, I'd have Drew win. I'd have Punk move on to Seth. You do Punk and Seth. You have Drew still try to stick it to Punk in there, and then you can wrap it around with a 3-way. But I don't think that's what they're going to do. So we got all of our predictions for that one. Let's move on to the undisputed WWE Championship match, Cody versus Solo. A lot of people talking about this. I see people who are just saying absolutely 100% Solo is going to win. If you don't think he is, you're an idiot. And then I see people saying, of course, Cody's going to win. Roman's coming in. He's going to distract him. Why would you think otherwise? Awful. What do you got here?
Do you really need Roman Reigns coming in at this point? No, you don't. My sentiments exactly, Kev. You can have this match, Solo versus Cody. Cody goes over. This feud or program, if you want to call it that, I mean, it's not working for me. I'm on to the next one. Who? Someone other than Solo. Solo's getting a little, he's not doing it for me. That's just my opinion. So I see Cody going over.
Cody going over. Mr. Swerve, what you got?
Yeah, I see Cody going over too. I just hope it doesn't hurt Solo too much. And the mark in me wants Roman Reigns to come out and actually help Solo, saying, hey, thanks for representing the family, taking that torch while I was gone. But Cody, you can't have Cody. Cody wins and Roman shows up at the end.
Yeah. Kevin Apollo, what do you think?
Cody over, and I think we end the show. I don't think Roman's going to be there. I know people are screaming Roman's going to be there, but there's no reason for him to be there.
Nope.
I think if anything, Paul comes back, and Paul gets the phone call from Roman.
Okay.
Instead of Roman calling, instead of Paul calling Roman.
Right.
I personally, I think Roman will be there. I think that it's I don't think Roman's sticking around, but I think Roman shows up at SummerSlam because I think you do the tease at SummerSlam, you do the War Games at Survivor Series, and then you do, I think it's leading to Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania. And to get there, I think you need to make the Roman appearance. Now, in fact, I think it might even go as far as Jacob turning and showing that he is actually aligned with Roman. With the idea being that Jacob is about to interfere. Roman comes out. He says, come to me. And Jacob does, because Jacob's tribal leader is Roman, while the Tongans might be okay following. And that brings in Hakula. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. But I think that this is where Roman comes in and puts the line in the ground or line in the sand, because I think you got to set up War Games by Survivor Series, and you need Roman there to do that. So I'm saying Cody wins. There's no reason to take the title off Cody now. He's over. As many people will say that, Cody's dropping the ball or he's not. Cody's doing great. People are behind him. He still gets the pops. He still gets this. He's the champion, and he's going to be for a while. And you still got to do Cody versus Randy. So Cody and Randy will take us through the fall, but I think that he wins here at this show.
Why not Cody and Randy at WrestleMania? Because that's where I see that happening.
I'm not saying that it couldn't.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I think what I would do, I mean, I don't want to get too much into fantasy booking, but I'd turn KO too. So I'd have Cody feud with KO first and then go into Randy. That's what I'd do personally. Because KO's better as a heel anyway. So what are we doing here? Our other the other championship match, world championship match is the World Heavyweight Championship match between Damian Priest and Gunther. Everyone seemed to be going with Gunther up until this week.
Same.
And I've seen a lot of people online suddenly switching over and saying they think Priest is going to win. I went with Awful first last time. Swerve, what do you got?
You took the words right out of my mouth. Gunther. Last week, I seen Damian Priest cut those promos, a few commercial packages here, and I really want him to lose it to Dominic. That's in another fantasy, but
that'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
I'm gonna go with what we're all going. I want Damian to win, but Gunther's winning. Gunther.
All right, Kevin Apollo.
I think Damian wins it and Gunther wins it at home.
Okay. Okay. I'll do mine real quick before we go to Awful, because I think that you have Gunther win and then you do the big celebration in Germany. That's you don't even have to do a match. You can just have it be his homecoming, just be a celebration and start his next feud there. But I think Gunther is undeniable at this point. You have to put that title on him.
And you can't bury the King of the Ring, right? If he, then what's it for next year?
Because I don't think Nia's winning that. So we'll get to that later, though. Awful. What do you got?
I'm saying Damian Priest wins. Again, Damian needs this win more than Gunther needs this win.
That's true. That is true. And to be fair, they're giving Damian Priest one-man shows. They're giving Damian Priest one-man shows. They're having him in Puerto Rico with all the kids. Like, they're pushing Damian Priest as a big deal. So, it could go either way.
He loses it to Bad Bunny.
I don't know.
Hey, you know what? That's not the worst idea in the world.
He's losing it to Gunther at some point. It's just a matter of when. I think that Gunther, while I don't think then Gunther has to win, I think it hurts him a lot if he loses. So
if Damian wins at the pay-per-view and then Gunther begs for a rematch on Raw and gets it and wins, I mean, there you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the next one, we got the women's championship, Bayley versus Nia Jax. I already kind of said what I think. I don't think Nia's winning here because I think the chase is Tiffy to Bayley. It'd be a funny storyline for Tiffy to go after Nia, but that's not what they've been leading to. We will go with Kev first. Kev, what do you got?
Yeah, I think this is Bayley to get us to Tiffy time.
Yeah. Awful.
Not going to give Nia Jax the belt? I would. That's my answer.
I mean, I would.
I would
even
be shocked if Nia, if Bayley manages to win and then Nia freaking clobbers her.
Yeah.
And then Tiffy cashes in.
I would have given Piper the belt, to be fair, last month. Yeah. So, Swerve, what do you got?
Nia, I think she wins it. I barely remember Bayley as being a champion, and the spotlight's on Nia and Tiffy time.
You think it's possible? Okay, so Tiffy with the Money in the Bank, if she's getting the pops, I don't see how you turn her face with her character. But do you think it's possible that might be where this is going? They see the momentum that she has, they see the fans getting behind her, and they say, "Well, we can give it to Nia, and then turn Tiffy down the line because the fans want to cheer for her anyway." I mean, I don't see how you can make that character a face and still be successful, but. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility, right? You know,
is Tiffy time passing the jobber test so far? Does she got boo boo face after each loss or anything? Like, what do we know?
She seems all right. She seems all right. Yeah. Now we have the other women's title. Very rare that we get two women's titles match. The Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley, which is actually one of my most anticipated matches on this show. We
Prepare to be disappointed.
I know. I'll go first this time. I'll go first. I think Liv wins. I think Liv keeps it. I think Dom is gonna side with her. Or this was all in the end, I think she's going to end up with Finn, but I think that as part of the storyline right now, I think that it's going to be her and Dom. And this is going to start the lead to the end of the Judgment Day, but I'm going with Liv. Let's go with Awful. What do you got?
I would love for Rhea to win, but obviously you gotta build the heat that's already been given to oh my God, I forgot her name. Liv Morgan. So, yeah, Liv Morgan goes over. I don't see a turn happening as far as like between Dom, Finn, or whoever you guys may want to think is going to turn. I don't see no turn happen. For what we just talked about as far as this preview, there's a lot of turns. There's a lot of screw jobs.
Yeah.
Like something's got to be straight on a win. You know what I mean? And I think that Liv is going to do it.
Same with you guys. Liv. After that promo she cut outside in front of the trailer with Dominic's face on the background, I think that was one of her best promos. I think the Liv Morgan revenge tour continues on to Wrestlemania.
I did not expect that twist for them to go the route of Liv being an obsessed ex kind of thing. I did not expect that, and I did like Liv's delivery there.
I'm gonna have to watch that promo.
It's a good promo, man. Liv having that kind of like psycho ex stalker vibe going really works for her. So, Kevin Apollo, what do you think? You're the brains here.
I felt vindicated because I jumped on I'm going to defend Liv's progression last week. And then Liv's just showing everybody her inner Jersey girl.
Yep.
Yeah. It's working.
But I think where everybody's stuck is we all know Finn Balor is turning on somebody.
Yeah.
He's either going to screw Priest or he's going to screw Rhea. I don't think Dominic turns. Dominic gets enough heat as it is. You'll get Dominic shot if he turns on Rhea. But I think Liv's going to retain. I don't think Dominic turns, but I do think that the Judgment Day is going to be starting the last of its days.
Yeah.
Coming up,
fracturing.
Like I said, I think we're going to end up with Liv with Finn. I think Dom is going to be the odd man out at the end. I think Dom has a great face run in him. Honestly, I think people have so much fun booing him. I think they will be happy to cheer him. Go ahead, Kev.
I forgot about Carlito.
Carlito and Dom as a face goofy kind of R-Truth deal would be fantastic, honestly. So
for about 3 weeks.
Carlito turns on him.
Yeah. Carlito will continue to be a heel even when he's a face. So because he sucks as a face. As a real face, he's terrible. But the US Championship match, we got Logan Paul versus LA Knight. I'll say it right now. This is LA Knight. You can't. This is it. It's time. He's hit his.
Do or die.
You can't keep pulling him back. If you pull him back now, he's done. He's never going to be the guy. So this is it.
Yeah. I can't make the analogy I want to make because it'll get us demonetized. But you can't keep teasing. You can't keep teasing everybody before everybody decides to go home and pack it up.
And he can't pull a Chad Gable and turn LA Knight heel.
Yeah.
That's the problem because LA Knight as a heel isn't going to work. So
Saturday is LA's night. Let's just go. Give everybody what they want already.
Where does Logan Paul then go on to the world title scene?
Hell no.
I think you could probably eke another Logan Cody match at some point in time. Yeah,
but we already know the ending of that. That's the problem with Logan Paul. It's just like You can give him the U.S., you can give him the Intercontinental, even maybe tag team, but the World Championship, it's a pipe dream. He's great, but he can't carry that.
Within the next 3 years,
yeah,
Logan Paul will be a WWE champion.
Yes, I agree. And by the way, you want to know what you do with Logan Paul after this? You ship him to Raw. And then he has a whole other group of people to go. And Logan Paul can pull the card where he says, I'm on any show I want to be because I'm Logan Paul. What are you going to do? Because that's his character.
Prime logo on Netflix too.
Yeah. Because Netflix wants him.
Yep.
Netflix wants him. So I'd ship him off to Raw. Don't worry about a rematch. Don't worry about any of that because Logan Paul wouldn't care about any of that. He would. So we're all in agreement. LA Knight. So speaking of long overdue things, we have the Intercontinental Championship match with Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. Now, here's the interesting thing here. Okay. The website that I'm looking at right now has versus Dragunov, which has not been announced and doesn't seem like it's going to be announced. I mean, it would make sense because Sammy obviously doesn't want to. This, once again, Braun Breaker needs to kill Sammy. He needs to kill him. Kill him.
This is a rematch, correct?
This is the rematch. Yeah.
Oh, so he's going to kill him because this is what they were supposed to do. Whatever is going to happen this Saturday was what was supposed to happen. The last match that they had, it was supposed to be a 3-minute squash. He raises the new belt, and Sammy goes on being sad somewhere else.
Yeah, Sammy goes away for 2 months and comes back as Sammy Uso. That's what should happen with Sammy. Right. And then they have the Dragunov feud ready to go for Braun, so they don't have to worry about a rematch. That's my opinion. Swerve, what do you got?
Rick Steiner's little son comes out and helps him, and they create the Steiner brothers again. Just like you guys, Braun Breaker. You can't.
He's got to. Kev.
I think it'll be back and forth for 6 minutes, and the final 3 minutes will just be an unholy beating. Maybe even to the point that Sammy needs to be saved by Jay.
Ooh, because Jay's not doing anything.
Yeah, because Jay's not doing anything. So, and we have to
except pumping fear into the Judgment Day. I'm so tired of his name coming up. Hey, you really want to mess with Jay Uso?
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
I mean, there's other things we haven't mentioned. Jimmy is still in the mix. He could be the return that helps that ends up messing with Solo. Why isn't Jacob Fatu and Kevin Owens a match? Because oh my god, I want to see Jacob Fatu versus Kevin Owens in a one-on-one match, and they've been teasing it.
They added a pay-per-view somewhere, right?
No blood or blood something.
Bad Blood is taking.
Bad Blood.
It's taking the place of Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. Okay.
Instead of Hell in a Cell.
I feel like we're gonna get all these matches. We're gonna go. Why did they do it here? They're gonna jam it in the Bad Blood because that's a legacy pay-per-view that's been put on ice for a while.
Well, and then we also have Bash in Berlin at the end of the month too.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, there's no September pay-per-view, at least right now. I don't think. And then Bad Blood's happening towards the beginning of August. So I mean October. So it makes sense. So there you go. Those are our predictions for SummerSlam. Is there anyone that wants to get out before we listen to this Hulk thing real quick?
Oh no! Anything with the Wyatts? You think they make an appearance?
I mean, they're not. There's nothing that they're attached to. I don't. They have their debut the next night in the ring.
Yeah.
So I think keeping them to Raw, keeping them mid-card. What they did this week was fantastic. I think Awful even liked it.
I liked one thing. Last week, it was very dark. And this week they had the wherewithal to like dim the lights instead of just turning them all off. So you could still see it was on TV. And as I mentioned in the chat, like there were people out in the crowd who were recording it. And you could see it clear as day, but on USA Network, it was just like, wow, it's dark as hell in there. So the crowd obviously could see everything, but we as the television viewer could not. This week changed, and so it was that much better.
The chat's up in arms about Dr. D. Let me explain real quick. There is no Dr. D this week. We will be doing a quick watch along here. We only have one Dr. D video left, and we wanted to save it for when Marv will be here. So no Dr. D this week, but we will have something here in a second. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention how awesome Dexter Lumis looked yesterday. I didn't even know that was him.
So he really switched up.
Oh, you didn't know that? You didn't know that Rob Zombie was Dexter?
I mean, I knew it was Dexter Lumis, but I didn't believe it was Dexter Lumis, right? I thought it was someone else. I was like, why'd they replace Dexter Lumis? But it was Dexter Lumis. And man, like Dexter Lumis could be the Jacob Fatu of the Wyatt Six. With the way that he was wrestling.
Yes, you always go too far.
Man, the way he was moving, the way he looked, his intensity. I'm telling you, I think they found what they needed to find with Dexter Lumis. I always thought he had something in him back to when he was Sam Shaw.
Yeah, I love Sam Shaw. And when he was in TNA, when he was actually being Dexter.
Yeah.
Killing all the people in the background.
Did he let his hair grow out? Or no?
Yeah, apparently. Although awful claims that white people can grow dreads in 5 seconds.
I wish. Sheesh.
Oh, no. Wait a second, Swerve. Once you have your hair growing out, you find some little black girl, she'll do it for you. $10.
I did when I was in New York, and that's why I got a receding hairline, pulling it back.
Yep. That's the problem with those things.
Just the problem,
and they smell like hell.
The problem with white people and dreads is that then we have to stop taking our milk baths, and that doesn't.
Oh my god!
Because you all know we take baths in milk all the time, and when we have to stop doing that, it messes us up.
Have you heard of this?
5, 4, 3.
Yeah, I'm white. I can say it. I guess I'm blue. People don't know. So, okay, we have one last thing. It is a watch along. I don't know how much we're actually going to really be talking during this, but I'm just going to go for it.
The Hulkster's in the house. Check him out.
Okay, this is from Hulk Hogan had a band. It was called Hulk Hogan and the Wrestling Boot Band. And they had a CD called Hulk Rules.
I have it.
I grew up on it. I know every word to every song. I could rap right now and do all of Beach Patrol for you.
What's up, girlfriend?
Always go swimming with a buddy, work real hard, and always study. I could absolutely tell you that, but this song is weird because Hulk Hogan barely sings in it. Really, the whole CD is a Jimmy Hart CD.
I got a great idea, Daddy.
Yeah, so if you want to hear a Jimmy Hart CD, this is where to go. But just sit back.
Get up off your seat. He's got a brand new beat. When the going gets tough, the tough get rough. Hey, come on, let's go.
So let's point out some of the cameos here. We had Linda Hogan as
that was Linda Hogan.
Yeah, we had Linda as a background singer. We have Jimmy Hart here on the drums. We have Hogan on vocals. We also have kind of a mysterious entity providing vocals in the background that we don't see. Hogan is kind of playing guitar.
He's Brutus Beefcake, you know it is him.
I guess.
He's always in the back.
This is the only video from the CD, unfortunately. Because Hulkster in Heaven would have made a great video. Beach Patrol is such a classic. That's why we can't really cover a lot of these songs, and this would not be my first choice, but it's the only video from the album. So let's keep going here.
Let's go. The Hulkster's in the room. You know he's on the move.
Okay, someone in the chat said we should play Hulk Hogan, we should play Macho Man's diss track. I want to point out, if you look closely, Macho Man is in the background of this video.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And he is singing.
Just on screen. But I do agree. The Macho Man diss track, be a man, that is one of the greatest songs of all time. Also his heartfelt goodbye to Kurt Hennig.
Oh yes,
it's right up there with English Rose.
I always felt
What
bad about making fun of that because, like, Hulkster in Heaven is easy to make fun of because he's talking about a child that never existed.
A child that never existed, selling out Wembley that he was never at.
Right. The Macho Man song is about a real person, so I always feel weird.
You were the perfect friend.
Okay, back to it.
Feel it in my feet. We're moving to the beat when the going gets tough.
Oh my God! Look at that mullet. Holy shit!
Okay,
Party in the front, homeless in the back.
I want to take you back. I want to take it back to 1999. And a young Dis had his 1983 Crown Vic, brown, beautiful Crown Vic with a brand new CD player in it. And there was a street in St. Louis called Lindbergh. And that's where all the people would take their Mustangs and their cool cars out to race each other, right? And on late Saturday nights, me and my friend Michael Classic from my old podcast, we would show up and we would put Hulk Rules in our in our CD player in my 1983 Crown Vic. And we would blast it. And we'd pull up the cars and there'd be pretty girls in them, and we'd roll down our windows and we'd have Hulkster in the house playing over with the bass going and look over at them. And man, we did not get laid. I can tell you.
Yeah, no, that's
that is an absolute 100% true story. After we drop our friends off, we would go do that because none of them would want to do it with us.
Yeah, drier than the Sahara.
Yeah. You know, this CD was #1 in the UK for a long time. I'm just saying that for our UK fans, so they.
Well, that just goes.
This was on CD.
Oh yeah. Hulk Rules. Look it up, buddy. There's a lot.
I'm sure you can get it on eBay right now for $9.
There's a lot of great music there. So.
Jeff Fox.
Oh my God!
What's going on here?
What is this? This isn't real.
Is it jumping real?
What is this? Wait. This is the link that Neckbeard sent me.
Oh my
He turned heel in the middle.
Chairman now is a Hulkamaniac.
Neckbeards, what are you doing to me?
Tiananmen Square, brother. No way.
Tiananmen Square. I was going to be that guy to block the tank, brother.
What happened?
I saw that tank roll up, and I gave it the big point, brother. I said, what you gonna do? I said, what you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you? And that tank turned around and it said, it's okay, Hulkster. You can be the only one who's not a communist.
Neckbeard's new.
When the going gets tough, the tough get rough, brother.
Neckbeard's knew I wouldn't watch this video for more than 30 seconds.
Good times create weak men, brother.
Right. We go. Here you go. Kim Jong. Hold on, wait, that's the wrong one. Okay, Kim Jong Hulk is right.
Yeah.
From Ernest Cruz.
The People's Republic of Hulkamania.
What you're gonna do when the largest army in the world runs wild on you?
I'm so glad I saved.
Yeah, we've been cheering for the wrong guy all our lives.
Yes, we're dropping the leg on the West, brother.
I'm so glad I saved this for the end because I'm just tired enough and just drunk enough to think this is hilarious.
Unbelievable.
Okay, we got a super chat. Actually, you reminded me of a former white bud. This is from Uncultured Barbarian, $10. I am a white bud who used to roll my window down when I was on the passenger side and blast "Hold On" by Wilson Phillips. I got the strangest looks from other black people. Thank you, Uncultured Barbarian. We appreciate Barbarian. We appreciate the $10. Yeah, that was our gimmick. We would just drive in the place where you're supposed to be cool and play the most uncool music. But
golly,
are we okay?
Yeah, we got Rick rolled by Neckbeard.
I like how it goes back to Jimmy Hart.
Yeah.
Go back to those hot chicks.
We gotta show the world that everybody loves the Hulkster, Daddy.
I want to give a special shout out to Uncultured Barbarian because he's been donating so much throughout the night. Just fantastic. Man, we're gonna keep going.
What's also in this video, Neckbeards?
Neckbeard's got us, man. This is good. This is
War
good.
at the Gaza Strip. I mean, what's going on?
It's Linda Hogan in North Korea. I don't.
Yeah.
We're rocking down the house. The band is playing loud.
Wow, they didn't even put a spotlight on Macho Man.
No, none. No Macho Man. It's just that's a good point.
He might as well be the roadie.
He's not even been focused on at all.
Right.
this.
He's the most colorful professional wrestler of all time. Seriously.
The stained glass window of Elvis has gotten more camera time than
right.
Savage.
When the going gets tough, the tough get rough. Hey, oh, come on, let's go. Hey, oh, come on, let's go.
Oh, there it is.
Look at that kid. Look at that kid. By the way, I just want to point out, you're such a jerk, Neckbeards. He knew what he was doing.
I like how Macho Man's got his Slim Jim outfit on.
Yeah,
that's the recognizable Slim Jim outfit.
Let's go. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go.
I think Linda's still playing this music.
Here's a question: who's the other guy? Because you got Jimmy Hart, you got Macho Man on keyboards, you got Linda Hogan as the backup singer, you got Hogan as the guitarist, and then it's Joe over here.
Yeah, it's Bullet Bob Armstrong in a cowboy hat.
We got like 35 seconds left.
Linda playing the Yoko Ono role.
Oh wow,
yeah.
All right. That is the end of that, and that is the end of us. This might be the longest Tooney Talk Wrestling of all time. And I apologize to Kev because I know your toe hurts, and I know you're probably on pain meds, and I know that you got a kid. So
my toe hurts.
I'll find you.
I know you will. That's a problem.
First off, I agree here with Richard in the chat. Thank you, Neckbeard, for rickrolling us that way. That was brilliant. Thank you, Neckbeard, also for saying that we had a great show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is my first time hosting. I'll be doing it again. Not my first time hosting ever, but my first time hosting this show. If you guys liked it, I'll be doing it again in November when Marv goes off to, do whatever he's going to do. But I don't know if monsters can legally get married in the United States. So anyway,
I thought he was serving his second sentence.
He might be.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
But I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna shoot over to Kevin Apollo right now. Kevin Apollo, what do you got? You got anything to?
I got nothing going
promote. No, follow him on Twitter.
I'll be on Tooney. What do we call it? What's the TV one?
Tooney Talk TV every Tuesday night. Every Thursday night. Thursday nights.
I'll see you guys Thursday night.
That's the co-host, ladies and gentlemen.
Kevin Apollo, soon to be banned from Twitter.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Friday was rough. Definitely thought I was going down on Friday.
We got at the swerve. Let me say, it was a pleasure to have you on tonight. You fit in wonderfully, and when I don't know what Marv's going to say, but when I host again, you are more than welcome to come back. I'm sure Marv will say
Awesome. Thank you guys. It was fun. Thanks for sending me the invite. I listen to you guys weekly every Tuesday. It was fun when you guys jumped on a little bit earlier, a couple of weeks ago at 6, but I can't complain, man. Thank you, everybody in the chat. You guys were awesome. I loved it. Thank you.
I think it was good. Do you have anything to promote? What do you want to promote?
Just Twitter. I'm up on you there with you guys. If you're familiar with Twitter and AEW Neckbeards and everybody's Twitter handle, The Swerve Show. I used to do the YouTube thing, but I got burnt out, and I just love listening to good shows like you, Wrestling Soup, and random YouTube videos. So I'm in that stage right now.
Awesome. And it's at The Swerve Show. He has corrected it. So at theswerveshow.com. I mean, not .com.
He's also promoting air conditioning.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Oh, was it bad?
No, you're good. You're good. I didn't hear it. He's
no. I'm talking about you just sweating profusely over there.
Man, I kid you not. If I could show you my fan without too much, it is burning where I'm at right now.
I'm shirtless. I mean, you can see it on my avatar, but I'm actually also shirtless because I turned the fan off. But thank you again. It was wonderful. You sat in for me, and I owe you one now. You are fantastic, sir, and I thank you profusely. Awful Wrestling, the Grifter Extraordinaire. What do you got?
You all know where to find me. Tomorrow I'll be on that other show with that other guy, PWT with Phil Marks. And yeah, you guys know where to find me on X.
Y'all know me, still the same old G. Okay, I'm AEW Disciplinary at AEW Disciplinary on Twitter. You can find me there. Maxed Out Media, MAXXD for those not in the know. Make sure you check out this coming Saturday. There are rumors and speculation, rumors and innuendo that Marv and possibly Kevin Apollo will be joining Wrestling Soup for a post SummerSlam show on this very channel. So make sure you check that out. We love the guys over at Wrestling Soup. They've done a tremendous amount for us. They are even putting us on their network, and they have helped us get the podcast together, which, by the way, you can find on Spotify or any place you can find your podcast if you look for Tooney Talk Wrestling. So that's it. So for Kevin Apollo, for The Swerve Show, for All for Wrestling, for Marvin the Movie Monster, for AEW Neckbeards, who you can find on Twitter at AEW Neckbeards and is one of my close friends. I just want to say thank you all for joining me. I hope you were patient for me hosting this show for my first time. I hope we entertained you. And as my good friend Marv likes to say, actually, wait. I forgot to pull up the closing video. Well, you see, Marv has about 40 videos here. Okay, so look, there's a kid.
Oh, look, there's a kid.
Zodiac is got a weird.
It's good. Max and him can team up. They can do a collab. Okay. So from all of us here at Tooney Talk Wrestling and Tooney Town Wrestling, thank you for joining us. Now get out of here. Thank you so much, guys. I think we're still on.
Yeah. Oh, no, we aren't. No, we're not. Oh, shit, are we?